Chapter 1104. A cold voice resounded through the dark cosmos. It was like the dawn of dawn, erupting in the endless darkness. Dazzling radiance broke through the black blood shackles. A figure shrouded in boundless divine light emerged from the black blood that had been split open. Black hair fluttered about, blood-soaked white clothes fluttering about. Eyes like the sun and moon, releasing oppressive cold radiance. The divine king reappeared. Meanwhile, right now, Jun Wuhui's body already no longer had the 3,000 divine kingdoms irregular scenes. It was because the 3,000 divine kingdoms were completely absorbed into his body. Jun Wuhui's divine king body once again broke through the limits, climbing to a new peak. That is, in desolate border, countless people were so excited they almost suffocated. Jun family's elders also temporarily released a breath of relief, saying, "Worthy of being Wu Hui, the divine king body has already been used to perfection by him." Correct, the divine king body has another special characteristic, endless battle intent, becoming stronger the opponent. The stronger the enemy, the more the divine king body's potential can be stimulated, breaking through the limits of one's own strength, continuing to break through the peak, all the way until one surpasses the enemy. It wasn't just the Jun family. The other great figures, old antiques, living fossils, were all stupefied, sighing in amazement. Many people finally understood. Why was Jun Wuhui called the white-clothed divine king, an unmatched war god? Born without fear, fighting to the end, this was a true exceptional war god. On the other side, the foreign kings all became silent. What else could they say? Jun Wuhui, what did Jun Wuhui, Ultimate Emperor Clan's king, said coldly. In the border pass, when Fourth Master Scar and the other protectors saw this scene, they were all so excited they couldn't help but roar out, their emotions surging. Benefactor, born as a king, Fourth Master Scar was overwhelmed with emotions, truly wishing he could stand at Jun Wuhui's side, face the boundless darkness together with him. Divine King Great One, please fight for my immortal domain. A protector roared towards the sky, kneeling down on one knee in skyless dark realm's direction. Divine King Great One, please fight for my immortal domain. The second protector's eyes were completely red, tears of blood flowing. He roared out, roaring in anger. Then it was the third, fourth, fifth place. These gatekeepers had been guarding the border for countless generations. The prosperity of the immortal realms had nothing to do with them. What was the belief that he had been holding on to until now, other than protecting the safety of the immortal region? It was all because of Jun Wuhui. The white-clothed God King was the faith of all the guardians. Your Excellency, please fight for the immortal region. Fourth Master Scar let out a long howl as well. He was so excited that he couldn't control himself. It was hard to imagine that a Chaos Dao sovereign would be so agitated and lose his composure. 1 spread to 10, 10 spread to 100, 100 spread to 1,000, 1,000 spread to 10,000. Even the cultivators of the imperishable forces were yelling. Regardless of whether it was the older generation or the younger generation, it was the same. The quasi-emperors and ancient ancestors of the Jun family, and even the divine universe emperor, were all facing the direction of the skyless dark world and cupping their hands. Wu Hui, please fight for the Jun family and the immortal region. Even the Xian Ting, the great emperor of Xian Ting who held the dragon monument of Fuxi, who was in competition with the Jun family. He also let out a sigh, and then cupped his hands in the direction of the skyless dark world. Jun Wuhui, please fight for the immortal region. Billions of creatures knelt down. The Supreme Emperor cupped his hands. Countless voices converged into a shocking wave, shaking the heavens and the earth, surging with passion. It resounded throughout the border. It resounded throughout the desolate border. It resounded throughout the 9 heavens immortal region. It resounded throughout the heavens and realms. White-clothed God King, please fight for the immortal region. Who in the entire universe had such might and power? Who had such faith? Only the Jun family, the God King Wu Hui. Rumble. Countless light dots rose and gathered in the desolate border and even the nine heavens' immortal region. That's the power of faith. The experts of the Western sect and the Gulen sect were shocked when they saw this. Each light was the prayer and faith of a creature in the immortal region. They prayed, hoping that Jun Wuhui could continue to protect the border, protect the immortal region. The dense and endless light of faith rose from all over the immortal region, converging into a supreme tide of faith and surging toward the skyless dark world. A creature's faith and prayer might be as insignificant as a flame. However, 100, 1,000, 10,000, in the end, the faith power of countless creatures converged. It could turn into heaven-shocking power, engulf the darkness. That is, the foreign kings all felt like they were suffocating at this moment, their eyes revealing a hint of shock. The tide of faith formed from millions and millions of creatures left these foreign kings shocked to an indescribable degree. This is precisely the power of faith. Divine Universe Great Emperor said softly. That flood of faith crossed the desolate border, pouring into the skyless dark world. How is this possible? So much faith power. Outside the dark world, the undying kings who were fighting were all shocked, speechless. So this is the true source of Great One's power? Shanao of Beach was also incomparably shocked. In the past, he believed that Jun Wuhui was still a bit of a distance away from his benefactor. But now, only then did Shanao of Beach discover something. Jun Wuhui wasn't weaker than the Jun family's eternal emperor in the slightest. The dark world, that was like an eternal night, was illuminated by the resplendent light of faith. Within Jun Wuhui's body, the sound of all living beings chanting could be heard. An endless flood of faith supported his body. It made Jun Wuhui's entire body surge with golden divine light. Jun Wuhui was like a god of war reborn from the flames, reborn from the faith of all living beings. What a terrifying power of faith! Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were shaken. Ever since he obtained the seed of faith, he had also been researching the power of faith and established the Destiny Church. In the end, he even had the power of 10 billion believers. But even so, the power of faith enveloping Jun Wuhui's body still made Jun Xiaoyao sigh with emotion. He recalled that Jun Wuhui had once left him a protective talisman. There was a sentence engraved on it: "A gentleman's life, no regrets." Perhaps this was a reason why Jun Wuhui could obtain the faith of all living beings. Only a true hero was worthy of the devout faith of all living beings. At this moment, Jun Wuhui's entire body burned with divine flames. His head of black hair turned into a dazzling golden color, enveloped in divine light. On his jade-like face that looked as if it was carved by a knife, mysterious golden divine patterns appeared. Jun Wuhui's pair of eyes that were as awe-inspiring as the sun and moon also turned into a mysterious and deep dark gold color. It was as if the eyes of a god were looking down on the world. At this moment, Jun Wuhui's godly king body had already reached a new peak under the support of all living beings' faith. Could that be the legendary ultimate transformation of the godly king body, the primordial godly king body? In the celestial realm, countless old antiques were shocked, their scalps tingling, and they were so shocked that they couldn't speak. The godly king body was ranked very high among the 3,000 physiques. Since ancient times, there had been some stunning godly king bodies. But legend had it that there was an ultimate transformation of the godly king body called the primordial godly king body. However, this kind of transformation of the primordial godly king body was too rare. In a long era, there were not many godly king bodies that could reach this level. The only record was that in the antiquity era, there was once a primordial godly king body. And the records about that primordial godly king body were also very simple. Tearing a true dragon apart with his bare hands and stepping on a divine phoenix. Fighting desolate ancient sacred body heaven-slaying tyrant body. He had even suppressed a current-era chaotic body. His battle record was so strong that it was a mess. But now, countless years had passed since then. Another primordial godly king had appeared in the world. At this moment, billions of living beings in the celestial realm were incomparably excited and cheered toward the sky. Jun Wuhui, who had transformed into the primordial godly king body, gave everyone hope. In the dark realm, the ultimate calamity that stood in the endless black tide looked indifferently at Jun Wuhui in front of him. There was a trace of surprise in his pitch-black eyes, but they were still as calm as dead water. Is this your true trump card? But you still can't escape death. Although the primordial godly king body was extremely heaven-defying, what he was facing was the great terror of the world, the ultimate calamity. Jun Wuhui smiled, extremely carefree. His golden hair was dazzling, and the light of faith burned like divine flames. It made Jun Wuhui look like a supreme godly king bathed in golden divine flames. A real man is born between heaven and earth. There is no fear of life and death. If there is only darkness left in the world, then I am willing to be the only spark. If there are 10,000 sparks in the world, then I am willing to become the flame that burns the prairie, suppress calamity on behalf of all living beings. His clear voice resounded throughout the universe. This scene was enough to be engraved in the hearts of all living beings in the celestial realm. The ultimate calamity's gaze focused on Jun Wuhui, his eyes as cold as an ice abyss. Since that's the case, then I will fulfill your benevolence and righteousness. The ultimate calamity changed his mind. He no longer wanted to pollute Jun Wuhui, but wanted to kill him directly. He raised his palm, and the vast black tide surged. The power of black blood surged, shaking the boundless universe. This was an invincible dark power. Seeing this, Jun Wuhui pushed his divine power to the limit. Every strand of hair seemed to be burning. The primordial godly king body exploded with unprecedented powerful divine power, shaking the heavens for thousands of miles, laughing proudly in all directions. Jun Wuhui's entire body shone brilliantly. In the end, his entire body seemed to be burning in the endless flames of faith. One person as a torch, dispelling the darkness of all worlds. Twilight of the Gods, Dawn of the Human World. Chapter 1105. Incomparable light was emitted from Jun Wuhui's body. Everything was annihilated in this light. Dusk of the Gods. This was the ultimate move of the divine king body. But now, what Jun Wuhui used was not only Dusk of the Gods. With the support of the power of faith of all living beings, Jun Wuhui had an even more terrifying move after Dusk of the Gods. Dawn of the Human Realm. After Dusk of the Gods, the dawn of the human realm would arrive. This was the ultimate mystery of the divine king body's ultimate move. Endless dim, yellow light shone. But in the light of dusk, the first light of dawn appeared. That was the dawn of the human realm. It was this dawn that broke through the endless darkness. Even the hand of the law of darkness that the ultimate calamity reached out was pierced through. An indescribable collision was born and destroyed in this universe. Not even the slightest sound was emitted because the medium that transmitted sound was destroyed. The universe was silently collapsing. All kinds of chaos energy and even space-time cracks were created. In this unimaginable collision, everyone was watching nervously. In a desolate land, the hearts of the creatures of the two worlds seemed to have stopped. They held their breaths and waited, watching the scene in the light screen. Even the entire light screen became unstable because of the impact of that energy. Lord Divine King, countless people were praying. This move is enough to be recorded in the history of the immortal realm. Divine Universe Emperor sighed. Regardless of whether this battle was successful or not, Jun Wuhui and this move of his was enough to be remembered for all eternity. In the universe of the dark realm, a trembling sound came. Everyone saw in shock. That was the ultimate calamity that had been invincible since its awakening, bringing endless killing to all living beings. But it was retreating. It retreated dozens of steps. The hand he reached out emitted a burnt smell. The golden light of faith of all living beings was like a flame burning the darkness. The ultimate calamity spat out a small mouthful of black blood. His rotting body, which was covered in black blood, also had traces of being burned. The ultimate calamity was injured. At this moment, the world was deathly silent. The ultimate darkness that was known as all living beings, the great calamity of the foreign realm, was injured. This was simply something that all the foreign creatures could not imagine. It was as if his faith had collapsed. In their eyes, the invincible ultimate calamity was actually injured. No, this is impossible. How could the great calamity be injured? I don't believe it. There were foreign undying kings roaring, heaven and earth shaking. They couldn't believe their eyes. Great, invincible God King. On a mortal domain side, all creatures were excited, roaring and roaring. The ultimate calamity that appeared in the world with an invincible stance was injured. This was of great significance. The fact that it could be injured meant that it was an ultimate calamity that could be suppressed or even eliminated. The ultimate calamity was not an eternally invincible existence. However, compared to the cheers of countless cultivators from the immortal region, the top experts of the immortal realms, Emperor Shunyu, Emperor Xianting, Big Dipper Emperor, and the others didn't look too relaxed. They had witnessed the power of Jun Wuhui's move. It could be said that even great emperors could be easily killed. In fact, he could even slay stronger existences. However, this attack only managed to injure the ultimate calamity. It did not deal any fatal damage to it. Moreover, since the ultimate calamity was injured, then would Jun Wuhui be in a good state when he collided with it? Such worry caused many experts of the immortal realms to frown. Meanwhile, on Dark Realm's side, when Jun Xiaoyao saw the injured ultimate calamity, a dark light flashed past his eyes. That power of faith seems to have the effect of restraining the power of black blood. Jun Xiaoyao observed very carefully. He noticed the power of faith was like a golden flame, burning the power of black blood. Although it wasn't a complete restraint, it could indeed deal effective damage to the ultimate calamity. Jun Xiaoyao immediately thought of his seed of faith. In his inner universe, the seed of faith that had been brewing for a long time, shining as brilliantly as the sun. It was time for it to blossom and bear fruit. However, father's condition, Jun Xiaoyao immediately looked towards the other side of the battlefield. He was a bit nervous, not knowing what Jun Wuhui's situation was. It wasn't just Jun Xiaoyao. Everyone was paying attention. The Jun family's elders, old ancestors, and ancient ancestors all stared at the screen of light without blinking. In an expanse of chaotic and destroyed nothingness, a light appeared. A hazy figure appeared before everyone's eyes. Blood-dyed, white clothes fluttered, his back perfectly straight. He had a head of brilliant golden hair, every strand translucent. It was precisely Jun Wuhui. And how could this be? A cold and hoarse demonic voice echoed, shockingly coming from the ultimate calamity. The reason why he was so surprised was because Jun Wuhui didn't seem to have suffered any injuries. This scene shocked everyone's eyes. How could this be? The foreign kings were all stupefied, unable to believe what they were seeing. Even the ultimate calamity was injured. So how could Jun Wuhui be unscathed? Could it be that he is forcefully holding on? Just as the creatures of both realms were puzzled. Behind Jun Wuhui, a dazzling golden supreme decree appeared. That is, countless creatures were deathly silent, unable to make the slightest sound. There were some sharp-eyed supreme experts who saw some of the words on the golden decree, sucking in a breath of cold air. Then, the eyes of many great figures from a mortal domain all landed on the Jun family. Could that be a decree left behind by that person from the Jun family? When many people thought of this, they all felt their scalps go numb. Inside Dark Realm, the golden decree surged with the wind, like a golden heavenly curtain, spreading towards the entire dark universe. Meanwhile, on that decree, there were 2 lines of words written like dragons and snakes. The heavenly Tao's coronation is nothing more than a burden. I corroborate the Tao. Transcend 10,000 tribulations to become an immortal. Every single word was powerful enough to shake the heavens and crush the endless space and time. Jun family, heaven abandoning great emperor's decree. Jun Wuhui patted his chest, coughing out blood from his heart, landing on the heaven abandoning decree. Summon the ancestors' true spirit. Join me in suppressing the darkness calamity. Jun Wuhui sacrificed his true spirit with blood. Some supreme experts could manifest part of their power if their descendants called them by their names. Not to mention now, there was the heaven-abandoning decree and Jun Wuhui's blood as a medium. An inexplicable vast power emerged from the heaven-abandoning decree. Every ancient word on the decree seemed to come alive, shining brilliantly like ancient stars. Then, a blurry figure quietly appeared. That figure carried a domineering aura that could suppress the heavens and trample all realms. It was like the emperor of all realms, the lord of all realms. Countless stars revolved around the blurry figure. Billions of galaxies were just a stream under his feet. The vast galaxy was just a pebble beside his feet. A power so vast that it was about to open up this universe was surging violently. The Jun family's heaven-abandoning emperor's true spirit had appeared. That's really the Jun family's heaven-abandoning emperor's true spirit. TSK, the Jun family's most glorious emperor in recent times. Although he's called an emperor, his true strength is unfathomable, far beyond the reach of ordinary emperors. No wonder. I said that no matter how brave Jun Wuhui is, he can't be so reckless as to face the ultimate calamity alone. So it turns out that Jun Wuhui has been hiding this trump card all along. When the heaven-abandoning emperor's true spirit appeared, the beings of both realms were in an uproar. Many people didn't expect that Jun Wuhui had already prepared for it. Heaven-abandoning emperor, the invincible ancestor who abandoned the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao was also shocked. The Jun family's most glorious emperor in history had manifested his true spirit to fight the ultimate calamity. What would the result be? Chapter 1106. Inside the skyless dark world, boundless power filled the universe. Although that blurry figure was only Qi Tiandi's true spirit, its power far exceeded that of a true great emperor. All emperors respected it. All creatures worshipped it. This was the Jun family's most stunning existence since ancient times. Vigorous energy swept out in all directions. The thick black fog was dispersed by this energy. The dark universe welcomed a brilliant dawn. Ultimate calamity looked towards Qi Tiandi's true spirit. A hint of seriousness appeared in those pitch-black and numb eyes for the first time. Just a true spirit. If your true body descends, I might be able to take you seriously. Ultimate Calamity's tone was still cold. Black blood flowed on his body. The injuries from just now were also healing on their own. However, the faith energy of all living beings was like flames, burning Ultimate Calamity's body, preventing him from healing completely. After hearing Ultimate Calamity's words, the foreign kings in the desolate border couldn't help but feel shocked. One had to understand that Ultimate Calamity was absolutely invincible from the moment he appeared in the eyes of the world. No existence was worthy of Calamity's attention. But now, Ultimate Calamity said that if Qi Tiandi's true body descended, he would be worthy of being taken seriously. This was already an extremely high evaluation. It seems that the one from a Jun family is indeed a bit unimaginable. Some foreign kings' expressions were grave. Qi Tiandi, white-robed divine king, son of God, Jun Xiaoyao. Geniuses appear in every generation. How lucky is the Jun family? On the immortal domain side, many undying forces, great figures side. 3 eras, 3 monsters. Any force that could obtain one was already extremely lucky. The Jun family, however, had one in every era. This undoubtedly made people's eyes turn red. However, now that the June family's Chi Tiandi's true spirit has appeared, will he be able to fight against calamity? The creatures of both worlds were nervously watching. This was the greatest change. Skyless dark world, ultimate calamity, stood in the boundless dark universe. His pitch-black eyes were filled with abyss-like coldness. He reached out a palm, covering the universe. Endless dark runes branded the sky. They were targeting Chi Tiandi's true spirit, Jun Wuhui, the mother of the red spider lilies, Jun Xiaoyao, and the others. The ultimate calamity actually wanted to wipe out everything. This time, ultimate calamity did not act like a cat toying with a mouse like before. He was truly going all out. That hand of the law of darkness swept across the universe. The boundless tide of black blood followed the hand of law and rushed towards Jun Wuhui and the others. Fight! Jun Wuhui's murderous voice burst forth from his mouth, like a golden spear and armored horse, shaking the heavens. At this moment, Jun Wuhui, who had transformed into the ultimate grand primordial god-king body, had reached the peak of his strength again. A godly king forbidden technique was used, its might increased by 10 times. The light of absolute beginning surged, as if the entire universe was about to collapse. On the other hand, Chi Tiandi's true spirit was blurry like the ancestor of 10,000 emperors standing in the universe. Just like ultimate calamity, Chi Tiandi's true spirit didn't use any techniques or abilities. Instead, it was just as simple as a palm strike. For an expert at this level, ordinary abilities were just a burden. One fist and one palm strike, returning to the basics, was enough to destroy the heavens. Rumble. It was as if there were tens of thousands of universes pressing down together, with Chi Tiandi's true spirit's palm strike. The heavens were destroyed. All things fell. The strength of Chi Tiandi's true spirit was beyond everyone's imagination. The mother of the red spider lilies also activated unparalleled power. However, her goal wasn't to fight against ultimate calamity. It was all done to ensure Jun Xiaoyao's safety. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao had become a burden. His expression was cold. For the first time, Jun Xiaoyao, who had always been high and mighty and unrivaled, felt a little redundant. However, this was normal. After all, even a great emperor couldn't interfere in a battle of this level. If one interfered, they might become cannon fodder. Jun Xiaoyao was only a prime. The difference between them was indescribable. At this moment, no one in the immortal region would blame Jun Xiaoyao. How old was Jun Xiaoyao? He was only in his 20s or 30s, but he had already become the hero of the immortal region, sealing the evil intent of the gods with his own body. However, Jun Xiaoyao himself wasn't satisfied. He had high expectations for himself. He wasn't willing to just watch the show. At this moment, in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, the seed of faith that was as bright as the sun continued to tremble. As the power of faith converged, it seemed that something incomparably powerful was about to be born. However, time waited for no man. Rumble. A destructive collision erupted. Everything seemed to have been sent back to the beginning of the universe. All kinds of space-time cracks appeared, reflecting all kinds of scenes from the past and present. This scene was too shocking. Even a battle between great emperors wasn't as grand as this. It was as if the world was going to be destroyed. The light screen in the desolate border was trembling violently. Apparently, it was disturbed. However, it was still barely visible. At this moment, the beings of both worlds held their breaths. They didn't know what would happen next. Could Chi Tiandi's true spirit block the power of ultimate calamity? When the universe's chaotic mist scattered, the scene appeared. Chi Tiandi's true spirit stepped on the great Tao, an endless world revolving around him. Boundless Emperor's radiance illuminated the heavens and 10,000 worlds. He blocked it. Chi Tiandi's true spirit blocked calamity's full power palm. At this moment, countless immortal domain cultivators were shouting, their necks all red. They were incomparably excited. Immortal domain had hope. June family's people were also incomparably happy. At the same time, they felt proud. On the other hand, the expressions of the foreign experts all changed. When the invincible ultimate calamity was no longer so invincible, faith would begin to waver. The battle hasn't reached its end yet. We don't know what the result will be like. Exactly. The great calamity is indestructible. The immortal emperor race's experts said coldly, bracing themselves. However, it was clear that the confidence in their words wasn't as great as before. Skyless dark world. Qi Tiandi's true spirit towered above the universe, Emperor's radiance illuminating everything. Jun Wuhui also stood in the void. Even though there was blood flowing from the corners of his mouth, it wasn't a big problem. With the absolute beginning godly emperor body and the support of the faith of all living beings, his strength had reached the absolute peak. Ultimate calamity's pitch black and numb eyes flickered with unprecedented coldness upon seeing this. The light of a grain of rice dares to compete with the brilliance of the moon. Ultimate calamity reached out his hands. An incomparable tide of black blood swept over from every corner of the universe. It was like a pitch-black tide that was going to drown the boundless universe. It was a terrifying, forbidden move, and also a move that could destroy the world. If it landed in the nine heavens immortal realm, it was easy to imagine what kind of calamity it would bring. Countless living beings would be stained by the black blood. They would fall into a frenzy of killing and chaos. The move covered everyone in the skyless dark world at the same time. Su Hongyi had long been knocked back by Jun Xiaoyao. Shenle had left too. Qi Tianyi's true spirit and Jun Wuhui were able to resist the move. The red spider lily's mother unleashed her might to resist the force of calamity and protect Jun Xiaoyao at the same time. Cough! Blood was flowing down from the red spider lily's lips. Even though her strength had greatly surpassed the immortal emperor's, she was still a little powerless against the force of calamity. She was injured. Senior, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes glittered. The red spider lily's mother, whose black dress was stained with blood, looked extremely pitiful. I'm fine. The red spider lily's mother's voice sounded a little weak. Meanwhile, something in Jun Xiaoyao's space artifact shuddered. Is that? Jun Xiaoyao froze for a moment. He immediately took it out. It was the grimace mask that he had obtained from the bronze immortal palace. Chapter 11:07. This bronze devil face mask was incomparably clumsy, looking like it was crying, but also laughing. However, it was something the devil-masked woman left behind in the bronze immortal palace. And now, this devil face mask suddenly trembled, releasing a wave of aura that made one tremble. This cosmos seemed to have produced some type of resonance. Streak after streak of incomparably ancient and profound patterns appeared in the dark void. Great Tao patterns interweaved, divine chains of order colliding, interweaving with each other. In the end, they formed a great taboo formation that encompassed this world. Meanwhile, this great taboo formation's aura was completely incompatible with the ultimate disaster. In other words, this great taboo formation wasn't set up by the ultimate disaster. That is a formation. How is this possible? Everyone who saw this scene was stupefied. This was especially the case for the foreign kings. They knew that heavenless dark realm was the foreign side's eternal forbidden land. Apart from a few ultimate emperor clan kings, there were also the world eradication 6 kings of the past who could enter. Other creatures couldn't enter at all. There was even less of a need to talk about setting up a formation. Yet now, there was this type of incomparably terrifying great taboo formation that appeared. This left all of the foreign creatures in disbelief. How could this be? Who set this up? An undying king inwardly clenched his teeth, unable to believe this. This was equivalent to unleashing a great move at the gates of one's home. Could it be the Jun family's doing? If it isn't the Jun family, could it be? There were foreign, undying kings who thought of that stunning endless generations, that mysterious woman who no one dared to stop when she entered the foreign side. This is inside heavenless dark realm. When he saw the great taboo formation appear, Jun Xiaoyao was also a bit stunned. He looked towards the devil face mask in his hands. Could it be that this is the key to activating the Great Taboo formation? This means that the devil-masked woman predicted that I might come to the foreign side and face the disaster. Jun Xiaoyao felt that this was a bit inconceivable. If this really was the case, then the devil-masked woman's arrangements were just too deep. This devil-masked woman who wandered through ancient history had previously left behind many contingencies. Each time, it would help Jun Xiaoyao at the crucial moment. In the Bronze Immortal Palace, Jun Xiaoyao obtained all life source energy, as well as the devil face mask. At that time, Jun Xiaoyao didn't even know the use of this devil face mask, only casually putting it away. But now, it had become the key to opening the forbidden formation in the depths of the dark world. It could only be said that the demon-masked woman had calculated every step accurately. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao recalled that the red spider lily's mother had once said that the ghost-masked woman had once entered the dark skyless world. Jun Xiaoyao thought that the demon-masked woman had met the ultimate calamity before. From the looks of it, the ultimate disaster should still be in a dormant and sealed state at that time. The ghost-masked woman took the opportunity to lay down a forbidden array. He believed that he could help Jun Xiaoyao in the future. This plan was simply a stroke of genius. That aura, ultimate disaster, looked at the ghost face mask in Jun Xiaoyao's hand. During the period of his slumber, he had vaguely sensed that a shocking aura had arrived at the skyless dark world. But in the end, he left silently. It would appear that the Grand Taboo Formation had been set up at that time. At this moment, the Forbidden Grand Formation was being activated. Red spider lilies bloomed in the void. At the same time, a misty river appeared, bringing with it the aura of time. It was the River of Time. The formation of this Forbidden Grand Formation had temporarily manifested the River of Time. What kind of shocking technique was this? Even Qi Tiandi's true spirit was looking at the River of Time. The beings of the two worlds in the desolate border were also staring. It could be said that no one had expected this unforeseen turn of events. The Jun family still has reinforcements? Someone was puzzled. Under the gazes of billions of people, a slender and beautiful figure appeared on the other side of the River of Time. She was peerlessly beautiful, like a celestial flower blooming in ancient history. She also looked like a female celestial who had walked out of a painting. Her stunning appearance made countless people a little dazed. Many men were instantly captivated, worshipping her as a goddess in their hearts. Even some women were dazed. They didn't feel jealous at all. They only felt that she was extremely stunning and moved their hearts. The only pity was that the peerless woman was wearing a ghost face mask, so they couldn't see her face clearly. Who is that? Some people were puzzled. Some of the ancestors of the Jun family were a little enlightened. It's indeed that heaven-defying anomaly who has lived in many worlds. It seems that she has a deep karma with Xiaoyao. Some of the ancestors of the Jun family were also relieved. At first, they were still very cautious about this karma. But now, it seemed that this karma was beneficial to Jun Xiaoyao and the Jun family. Countless people were staring at the light screen. Now that the situation had changed, everyone was waiting to see how the ending would develop. As for the kings of the foreign lands, they somehow had a bad feeling in their hearts. Inside the dark skyless world, on the other side of the River of Time, the ghost-masked woman's figure appeared. She stepped on thousands of daos and walked through time. Her true strength was also a mystery. However, she, who had lived in many worlds and traveled through ancient history, obviously couldn't be weak. It's you. The mother of the red spider lilies looked at the ghost-masked woman. A peerless figure that was deeply engraved in her mind appeared. The ghost-masked woman looked past the mother of the red spider lilies and looked at Jun Xiaoyao. 10,000 years in a glance. She just watched silently, not making a sound, not saying anything. She was like a silent, peerless fairy. Oomph. A cold snort shook the vast expanse. The ultimate calamity made its move again, wanting to destroy this forbidden formation. Setting up a formation in front of his home was already an extreme offense. The ghost-masked woman's peerless fairy appearance turned into a brilliant rain of light at this moment. The rain of light directly poured into the mother of the red spider lilies. In Jun Xiaoyao's hand, the ghost mask directly floated up and then fell towards the mother of the red spider lilies. The current mother of the red spider lilies was no longer just the mother of the red spider lilies. The ghost-masked woman manifested the river of time through the forbidden formation. Part of the power was transferred to the mother of the red spider lilies. Because the mother of the red spider lilies was originally the ghost-masked woman's body, there was no rejection when the power merged. The mother of the red spider lilies. No. Now, it should be said that the ghost-masked woman raised her hand and put the ghost mask on her peerless and flawless face. Suddenly, boom, fragments of time danced. Vast power surged. Endless red spider lilies bloomed like fire in the dark universe. The surging aura was no weaker than Chi Tiandi's true spirit. Instantly, the auras of Chi Tiandi's true spirit and the ghost-masked woman burst out at the same time, shaking this part of the universe. Even the undefeatable aura of the ultimate calamity was suppressed. How is this possible? The ultimate calamity's expression turned serious. Although he seemed to be undefeatable now, he wasn't in his complete state. Chi Tianyi's true spirit was one thing. There was also the ghost-masked woman who came from the other side of the river of time. Even though he was undefeatable like the ultimate calamity, he still felt the vast and surging pressure sweeping toward him. It's time for an end. Jun Wuhui activated the absolute beginning godly king physique to the extreme. The power of faith of all living beings gathered and turned into a brilliant godly spear that could pierce through all worlds. This move, dawn of all living beings. Jun Wuhui threw out the brilliant godly spear. It pierced through the vast universe and dispelled the heavy darkness. Chi Tianyi's true spirit also moved. As he raised his palm, endless power gathered. This was a power that could make even the heavens tremble. Endless, brilliant Emperor Tribulation light appeared. It was even more terrifying than the wrath of the heavens. A terrifying, godly punishment descended. This was the power of Chi Tiandi. The ghost-masked woman who was borrowing the body of the red spider lilies also moved. An endless rain of petals swirled in the air, and each petal seemed to reflect a great world. In each great world, there was a peerless empress who stood at the peak of time. She was peerless and had an otherworldly aura. 100,000 great worlds, 100,000 bodies reflected, suppressing the vast darkness. This superpower was unparalleled in the past and present. With a thought, flowers bloom, the sovereign descends upon the world. The most pleasant voice came out of the ghost-masked woman's lips and teeth. It contained the most terrifying power in the world. Godly King Jun Wuhui, Chi Tianyi's true spirit, ghost-masked empress. The three supreme techniques suppressed the ultimate calamity together. Chapter 1108. It was hard to describe that type of terrifying fluctuation. It was simply as if all worlds were about to be destroyed. That wave of destructive power. Even the great emperors were a bit shocked when they saw it. It could be called a great era confrontation. Jun Wuhui, who possessed the absolute beginning divine king physique, supported by the faith of all living beings. The Jun family's most stunning true spirit in recent times, Chi Tiandi. In addition, there was the ghost-faced empress who wandered through ancient history, her strength unimaginable. When the three great supreme powers joined together, it was enough to suppress everything. This dark universe seemed as if it was about to be destroyed. Even if the skyless dark world's order and laws were different from the outside world, extremely sturdy, right now, it still couldn't hold on, collapsing piece by piece. Jun Xiaoyao urged all of his divine might, resisting this wave of fluctuation, but he was still blasted back, the blood and qi in his chest surging. Even someone as freakish as Jun Xiaoyao was shaken when resisting this wave of aftershocks. One could imagine how terrifying this collision was. Even if a supreme being fell into it, they would be instantly torn apart, shattered into nothingness. Meanwhile, in the desolate border, that screen of light actually trembled intensely. In the end, with a PU sound, it was destroyed. Hurry, hurry, and show it. There were undying kings who shouted loudly. This was the most crucial moment. It might even decide the direction of the future great war between two worlds. Boom! Several Ultimate Emperor race kings joined hands, their auras surging, reflecting the scene inside Skyless Dark World. In an instant, the gazes of millions and millions of creatures were drawn over. On Celestial Domain's side, countless people were also watching nervously. Dong, dong, dong. Between heaven and earth, sounds of vibration sounded. Those were the hearts of countless creatures of the two worlds, thumping loudly, extremely nervous, under the gazes of millions and millions of people. On the screen of light, that dark universe that seemed to have turned into primal chaos finally slowly revealed itself. Countless time cracks, void vortexes scattered in all directions. The entire universe was beaten into ruin. One had to understand that this was the Tao field of ultimate disaster, incomparably sturdy. Even a great emperor's full power attack would find it difficult to cause great damage. But now, it was like a broken house, teetering on the verge of collapse. Cough, endless demonic sounds sounded, carrying the sound of blood coughing. Everyone watched in horror as drop after drop of black blood fell from the primal chaos pervading nothingness. Every drop of it smashed through the void. Could it be? All of the foreign creatures, including the kings, felt their hearts become a bit cold. Finally, the chaotic mist in the void dissipated. The figure of ultimate calamity was revealed. At this moment, his chest was pierced through by a dazzling golden divine spear. It was the spear of dawn of all beings that Jun Wuhui had condensed with the power of faith of all beings. In the destructive collision just now, abandoned Heavenly Emperor's true spirit and the ghost-masked woman had canceled out the power of the ultimate calamity. Jun Wuhui's dawn of all beings spear pierced through ultimate calamity's chest. Cough! Cough! Ultimate calamity was coughing, its rotting body emitting sizzling sounds of burning, and white smoke was rising. The power of faith of all living beings had a certain degree of restraint on the power of black blood. His body seemed to be disintegrating. Pieces of rotten flesh fell to the ground. Black blood was also dripping down. The current ultimate calamity was very different from his previous invincible state. He was in a sorry state. No, how is that possible? Oh, great calamity, how could this be? When they saw this scene, the eyes of the foreign creatures were about to pop out, crying out in horror, in disbelief. The ultimate calamity that brought immortal domain, the ultimate calamity, was actually going to end in such a sorry state? None of the foreign creatures were willing to believe this. Meanwhile, right at this time, the space around an ultimate Emperor clan king rippled, actually wishing to return to the other side and provide assistance to ultimate calamity. Where do you all want to go? Divine Universe Great Emperor and the other Jun family's 3 emperors stepped out, stopping them. There was also Xianting's Great Emperor who moved, locking onto the foreign undying kings. The other immortal domain's supreme experts also stared closely at the other side's movements, not allowing them to return and provide assistance. Jun family, you all are provoking the disaster of clan annihilation. Ultimate Emperor Clan's king's voice was cold to the extreme, carrying extreme, killing intent. Ha! What goes around comes around. How similar is this scene? Divine Universe Great Emperor sneered. Just now, Jun Wuhui and the others were in a critical situation. They wanted to provide assistance, but they were stopped by the other side's kings. Now, the situation was completely reversed. They naturally wouldn't allow the other side to provide assistance. Right when Desolate Borders battle situation was sluggish. On Dark Realm's side, Jun Wuhui and the others took action again. Kill. The 3 great supreme beings took action again, wishing to press the advantage and completely end calamity. How could I have been defeated by ants like you all? Ultimate Calamity, who originally didn't have the slightest bit of emotion, finally produced a type of emotion called anger. He roared towards the sky, his demonic voice shaking through endless time. However, In the eyes of outsiders, this was more like a final howl of grief before death. Jun Wuhui's absolute beginning deity king body was activated to the extreme, supported by all life's faith. He was like an absolute beginning deity king, suppressing endless time. Qi Tiandi's true spirit, even though he didn't say a word from start to finish, erupted with power that made even the heavens tremble. The demon-masked woman was also powerful beyond compare, borrowing the Permitha flower mother's flesh to display the ultimate method, illuminating all worlds, all of them suppressing over. This type of battle was too terrifying. Order crumbled, great Tao obliterated. In the end, the three of them faced calamity, fighting until heaven and earth were destroyed. Even someone as powerful as Calamity was forced back repeatedly, unable to pull out the dawn of all life spear in his chest. His rotten flesh continued to disintegrate, black blood dripping down. In the end, one of Calamity's rotten arms fell off. Then, his legs also fell off. His chest was burned pitch black. His handsome face, that was wearing half an iron mask, was also twisted to the extreme, appearing eerie and sinister. In the end, it was accompanied by an earth-shattering roar of anger. Ultimate Calamity's physical body was completely destroyed by the three great supreme beings. Black blood and rotten flesh scattered in all directions like meteors, falling into the boundless shattered dark universe. The ultimate Calamity was defeated. His flesh scattered and disappeared into the universe. That terrifying, destructive power exploded like a nuclear bomb, returning that area to the chaotic void. Heaven and earth rumbled with Tao, sounds, and became deathly silent. All sounds seemed to have disappeared in an instant. At this moment, in the desolate border, a rare absolute silence enveloped heaven and earth. There were clearly millions and millions of creatures gathered, yet no one released a sound. When the foreign creatures saw Calamity's body completely collapse, explode, their minds went blank. The mighty Calamity, the ultimate Calamity who brought endless calamity to immortal domain, died just like that? Am I dreaming? No, all of this is fake. After a momentary deathly silence, clamoring sounds tore through the heavens. The foreign creatures were shouting, their faces deathly pale, their faces ashen. There were even more creatures who fell to the ground, in disbelief, directly fainting. How is this possible? Even some undying kings didn't dare believe this. Ultimate Calamity died, just like that. It was completely different from the other side. Immortal Domain's creatures were so excited that they found it hard to control themselves. In the border pass, Fourth Master Scar and the others were shouting, incredibly excited. We won, we won. Immortal Domain's cultivators were all roaring towards the sky, venting their emotions. On the battlefield of heavenly talents, there were even more female cultivators who were moved to the point of shedding tears. This is too great. Everything is over, big bro Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli was so happy she shed tears, her sparkling eyes overflowing with sparkling tears. The longing in her heart could no longer be suppressed. She really wanted to see Jun Xiaoyao. However, right when all of Immortal Domain's creatures were cheering from the joy of victory, Divine Universe Great Emperor and the other Jun family's three great emperors stood in the void with their hands behind their backs, their expressions not changing much. There were also the Jun family's ancient ancestors and Xian Ting's great emperors who were like this. There wasn't much joy on their faces. On the other hand, even though the other side was howling in grief, roaring out. However, those ultimate Emperor Clan King's expressions were cold like ice, their eyes staring rigidly at the screen of light. Did they really think it would end just like this? An ultimate Emperor Clan King who had once entered the heavenless dark world sneered. At this time, a few Immortal Domain creatures also noticed through the screen of light. Even though Ultimate Calamity was already defeated. However, Jun Wuhui and the other two still stood in the void, their expressions not relaxing in the slightest. Instead, there was a trace of seriousness. Could it be? A few immortal domain creatures suddenly had a terrifying guess in their hearts. Heavenless Dark Realm. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the ultimate calamity that had completely collapsed, his brows tightly furrowed. It ended just like this? Jun Xiaoyao kept feeling that something was wrong. Rumble. Right at this moment, in the depths of Heavenless Dark Realm, in the dark universe that was already riddled with holes, an unimaginably large shadow slowly appeared. The order of heaven and earth shattered, and even the great Tao was wailing. All existences seemed to be about to return to eternal silence in front of that enormous shadow. Chapter 1109. This was a type of indescribable feeling. Just when everyone thought that everything was over, a voice suddenly rang out. They instead welcomed this type of terrifying change. What is that thing? On the screen of light, the terrifying scene of Heavenless Dark World appeared. A shadow that was as massive as the universe slowly appeared from the darkness. All of the immortal domain cultivators stopped at this moment, horror appearing in their eyes. Wasn't the ultimate disaster already eliminated? What is that? Many immortal domain cultivators revealed expressions of fear. It was precisely the so-called, the unknown was the most terrifying. Forget about the immortal domain cultivators. Even the foreign creatures were a bit stupefied, not snapping back to their senses, their minds completely blank. Just now, they were still howling in grief and despair. They never expected the situation to change like this. Did the main character come? Divine Universe Great Emperor's eyes also became serious. Everyone was holding their breaths, not daring to breathe too loudly, as if they were waiting for a nightmare to descend. In the depths of Heavenless Dark World, an indescribable aura spread, simply about to overturn everything. This was a type of power that could easily wipe out all life. Many heaven and earth great Tao were collapsing. The look in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes sharpened as well. Just now, he already felt that something wasn't quite right. He felt like things weren't this simple. Now it seemed like he indeed thought of the ultimate disaster too simply. Under the gaze of millions and millions of eyes, that shadow in the depths of Heavenless Dark World finally surfaced. Meanwhile, with a single look, everyone felt like they were about to suffocate. What kind of monster was that? What appeared before everyone's eyes was shockingly an eyeball that was as large as an ancient life star. That eyeball was like a dark red spark, but also like it was formed from countless pieces of rotten flesh. Thick black blood seeped out from the eyeball. In the eyeball surroundings, there were countless tentacles, densely packed. Every single tentacle seemed to be able to extend into a world. There was also black blood flowing from the tentacles. It was as large as an ancient star, flowing with black blood, as if it was condensed from rotten flesh. There were also densely packed tentacles. This scene was enough to make one feel suffocated, their minds in chaos. There were even more so immortal domain female cultivators who were going crazy, vomiting crazily, feeling like their mind are going crazy. It was indescribable. They couldn't look straight at it. This was the true face of the ultimate disaster. What exactly is this thing? An immortal domain cultivator couldn't help but cry out, about to lose his rationality, even his soul about to be emptied. As expected, this is the true body of the ultimate calamity. The so-called ultimate calamity from before was merely a projection. The divine universe, Emperor murmured, his expression turning extremely solemn. What? This is the true ultimate disaster. All the cultivators of the immortal region were dumbfounded. After such a difficult battle, what he had defeated was only a projection of the true ultimate calamity's power. Plop! Many immortal domain cultivators felt their legs go weak, collapsing onto the ground, instantly having all of their strength sucked out. This was just too despairing. There wasn't even the slightest bit of hope. Meanwhile, on the other side, most of the creatures were also stupefied. They were all shocked. This was the first time they saw the true face of the ultimate disaster. And to be honest, it was a little disgusting. He couldn't look at it directly, and his mind was about to go crazy. It was completely different from the ultimate calamity that they had imagined to be like the god of darkness. This is the true face of my world's ultimate calamity. Ultimate Emperor Clan's king's voice even stirred up great waves, becoming a bit excited. Something's not right on that eyeball. There is a sword. On a mortal domain side, a great figure spoke up. Ultimate Calamity's true body. This was just too shocking. That was why many people subconsciously overlooked it. On that planet-sized eyeball, there was actually a sword inserted into it. That sword was also incomparably massive, piercing through the eyeball. It swirled with resplendent, murderous, immortal light. Even though it had been inserted into the eyeball for endless time, it still revealed its sharpness, releasing intimidating, immortal radiance. This made many immortal domain experts' pupils suddenly contract. Could that be the immortal killing sword? Many experts' scalps turned numb, sucking in a cold breath of air. Immortal killing sword. Immortal domain's most famous murderous immortal weapon. Its whereabouts always unknown. Yet now it was inserted into the ultimate calamity's true body. Meanwhile, who was it that inserted the immortal killing sword into the ultimate calamity's body, forcing it into a sealed state? The eyes of many immortal domain, undying powers experts all landed on a group of people. June family. Could it be that that legend is actually true? That the June family previously really had an unimaginable taboo existence, one that had previously entered the foreign realm, fighting against the ultimate calamity? Immortal Academy's great elder was also incomparably shocked. Previously, Immortal Domain had always had a rumor that in the bygone era, there was a June family taboo existence that fought against the ultimate calamity. However, this was proven false by Xian Ting, Archean royalty, and other powers, saying that it was a false rumor. Now, it seemed like this was the truth. That June family taboo existence should have used the immortal killing sword to suppress and seal the ultimate calamity, forcing it into a state of slumber. The ultimate calamity still hasn't truly recovered. When he saw that immortal killing sword, the ultimate Emperor Clan's king said coldly. However, even if it hadn't completely recovered, its power was still enough to destroy everything. On Skyless Dark World's side, he looked at the planet-sized black blood eyeball with the immortal killing sword inserted into it. Jun Xiaoyao's I was also extremely surprised. He never expected that the true ultimate calamity was actually just an eyeball. Then, whose eyeball did it belong to? However, Jun Xiaoyao understood the cause and effect. His Jun family's ancestor had used the immortal killing sword to suppress and seal the ultimate calamity. As for the ultimate calamity, it sealed itself in the heavenless dark world, recuperating and accumulating strength. Even the creatures of the foreign domain found it difficult to enter, let alone the creatures of immortal domain. The Jun family and Jun Wuhui's goal was the immortal killing sword. Previously, when Jun Wuhui appeared, he had also said this. He came here to retrieve something that belonged to the Jun family. The immortal killing sword actually belongs to my Jun family. Jun Xiaoyao also felt that it was inconceivable. The immortal killing sword was a supreme, killing immortal artifact. It was also a peak existence among immortal artifacts. He also understood that the remnant sword energy he encountered before was actually left behind by the immortal killing sword. The reason why Jun Xiaoyao felt that the sword energy was a bit familiar was because the immortal killing sword originally belonged to the Jun family. Jun Wuhui came to the foreign domain to hide in order to wait for the Six Kings to open the heavenless dark world, and then obtain the immortal killing sword. He completely understood the cause and effect. But there was only one thing that Jun Xiaoyao couldn't understand. Jun Wuhui wanted to retrieve the immortal killing sword. Then what method would he use to deal with the ultimate disaster? Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking, endless demonic sounds rolled out. That huge eyeball that was stained with black blood like a planet. Although it didn't have a mouth, it could directly emit a mighty sound. Do you really think that the Jun family seal can suppress me forever? Impossible. The endless black disaster will attack, cover the vast expanse, and collapsed the celestial realm. The blood-stained eyeball, the true disaster, released an astonishing power, and endless black blood burst out. The immortal killing sword also bloomed with bright immortal light at the same time. It was simply like a true immortal descending to the world, killing everything. The immortal killing sword originally belonged to my Jun family. Today I will retrieve it, but you will also die. Jun Wuhui said coldly. The blood in his heart directly fell on the immortal killing sword, and at the same time, his hands formed a seal. In an instant, the immortal killing sword seemed to have awakened. Extremely bright, immortal light flowed on the blade. An endless light range shone brightly. There was even a blurry humanoid figure that appeared. That was the immortal killing sword's spirit, and it was actually awakened by Jun Wuhui. This was a method left behind by the Jun family's taboo existence. It's the Tantian ancient emperor. He still left behind a backup plan. The ultimate disaster's voice was cold, and a monstrous power of darkness burst out, wanting to completely break free from the immortal killing sword's seal. Chapter 11:10. The Tantian ancient emperor. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. He heard another name from the ultimate calamity. This reminded Jun Xiaoyao of the ancestor of the Jun family who had discussed the Tao with the Azure Emperor. The primeval ancient emperor, Jun Yuanshi. Primeval, Tantian, could it be? Jun Xiaoyao suddenly remembered the so-called Three Pure Ones. The primeval Lord of Heaven, the Tantian sect leader, and Taishang Laojun. Of course, this was just an instinctive association. There was no real connection. However, Jun Xiaoyao felt that these three should be the real big shots of the Jun family. They had set up an ancient scheme that spanned across epochs. Even the ultimate calamity was part of their scheme. However, the situation was still grim. The crisis had not been resolved. The Tantian ancient emperor had left a backup plan in the immortal slaying sword. Even the sword spirit of the immortal slaying sword had been activated by Jun Wuhui. However, the ultimate calamity that had been sleeping for eternity had also accumulated a lot of power and recovered a lot of its strength. After all, as long as the black blood spread, the ultimate calamity could absorb energy from the polluted world. This was the terrifying part of the ultimate calamity. It was very difficult to destroy. Even someone as powerful as the Tantian ancient emperor had only sealed the ultimate calamity with the immortal slaying sword. More importantly, the ultimate calamity was just an eyeball. If this eyeball belonged to a forbidden existence, it was simply unimaginable how powerful that existence would be. The immortal slaying sword was awakened, releasing a sword light that could shine for eternity. The blurry figure, the sword spirit of the immortal slaying sword, was also attacking. An immortal artifact had a spirit. In fact, the spirit of an immortal artifact was already strong enough to fight against an immortal. The boundless power produced by the collision seemed to have swept through billions of universes. All kinds of Daos were on the verge of collapse. Attack! Jun Wuhui attacked again. Qi Tianyi's true spirit and the ghost-masked woman also attacked. However, compared to before, their power had weakened. After all, one of them was a true spirit that had manifested, while the other had transferred part of his power to the mother of the hurricane Lily through the river of time. Neither of them could fight for a long time. Now, the two of them were exhausting the last of their strength to injure the ultimate calamity. Another world-shaking battle broke out here. Other than Jun Wuhui's trio, the immortal exterminating sword and the immortal exterminating sword spirit also joined the battle to seal the ultimate calamity. The immortal slaying sword radiance surged, releasing billions of strands of immortal light. There was immortal Tao lightning that erupted in the void, flickering about, as if it was going to destroy the dark worlds. As a supreme killing weapon, the power of the immortal slaying sword shocked everyone. Only such an immortal artifact had the ability to seal the ultimate calamity. That's terrifying. So this is the power of the god's slaying sword. I didn't expect the Jun family to have such a powerful weapon. Although the immortal slaying sword is strong, I feel that the ultimate calamity is even more terrifying. The immortal slaying sword has been sealed for a long time, but it still hasn't been completely destroyed. What is this eyeball? Is it really the eye of some unimaginable taboo existence? Some people were guessing, and they felt their blood run cold. A single eyeball could be called the ultimate calamity, causing boundless darkness and calamity. If the eyeball really had an owner, what kind of existence would that owner be? Right now, Immortal Domain's people's minds were in chaos, extremely nervous as they stared at the screen of light. Meanwhile, the Foreign Realms kings let out sighs of relief, their expressions calm. Since the calamity chose to awaken at this time, it means that it has accumulated enough power and is going to completely appear in this golden age. Countless creatures from both worlds were paying attention to this final battle. In the skyless dark world, all kinds of great destruction erupted. The void was beaten into primal chaos, and then the primal chaos returned to nothingness. The ultimate calamity's power was indescribable. Black blood flowed, turning into a long river that engulfed the heavens. At the same time, many tentacles were densely packed, like whips condensed from divine chains of order, viciously lashing at Jun Wuhui and the others. Space exploded from the lashing, endless dark runes splashing out. Cough! Jun Wuhui was forced back again, blood appearing at the corner of his mouth. Even with the absolute beginning divine king body, he was also covered in wounds and couldn't hold on much longer. Qi Tianyi's true spirit dimmed a bit. After all, this was only a wisp of true spirit. There would come a time when its power was exhausted. As for the demon-faced woman, her delicate skin began to crack. That was the physical body of the Hurricane Lily Mother. It couldn't hold on much longer. After all, the demon-faced woman's power was still too strong for the Hurricane Lily Mother. In addition, she was clashing with the ultimate calamity. No matter how strong her physical body was, she couldn't hold on much longer. The fact that the Hurricane Lily Mother's physical body could hold on for so long was enough to prove her strength. No one can stop the ultimate calamity's attack. Everything will be drowned, and the epoch will be destroyed. All of you are just mantises trying to stop a chariot. The ultimate calamity's demonic voice swept across the sky. It activated its most powerful technique. Endless dark power surged. Then, under the shocked gazes of billions of creatures, many dark figures were reflected in the void. They were the Dark Emperors and undying beings who had been tainted by black blood, demonized, and fallen to the side of darkness. Each of them was extremely blurry. Black particles and dense black mist emanated from their bodies. They were extremely blurry. It wasn't just one figure or two. Instead, over 100 densely packed dark silhouettes were reflected in the light. All the cultivators in the celestial realm were about to suffocate. They felt as if their hearts were being squeezed tightly by a pair of invisible hands. Hundreds of dark emperors and undying kings. What kind of concept was that? Although they were just imprints and projections, they were still powerful enough to make one shudder. Roar! Hundreds of dark emperors and undying beings' projections rushed towards Jun Wuhui and the others. That kind of fluctuation was indescribable. It could easily tear apart the world. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, countless explosions sounded between heaven and earth. This was the ultimate calamity's most powerful technique. It could reflect the once contaminated emperors and undying beings. Cough! Jun Wuhui was once again forced back, besieged by more than a dozen Dark Emperor's projections. There were even Emperor's imprints that instantly self-destructed, injuring Jun Wuhui. On the other side, the Hurricane Lily Mother's body cracked like porcelain, and there were even bloody wounds. If the demon-faced woman continued to exert even more power, not only would she be unable to attack, but she would also directly cause the Hurricane Lily Mother's body to explode. A faint sigh fell from the corner of the demon-faced woman's lips. She had tried her best. She had transmitted power from the other side of the River of Time. However, the Hurricane Lily Mother's body couldn't withstand all of the demon-faced woman's power. Now, if the demon-faced woman didn't stop, the Hurricane Lily Mother's body would directly collapse. Her power started to fade and disperse. The River of Time appeared again. That peerlessly beautiful figure stood on the other side, gazing at Jun Xiaoyao. She seemed to be silently praying that he wouldn't die and survive this calamity. There was a loud bang. The River of Time turned into light rain and dissipated. The Hurricane Lily Mother's consciousness returned. Her red lips spat out a mouthful of blood. She felt extremely weak and was about to disintegrate. On the other side of Qi Tiandi's true spirit, dozens of dark emperors and undying beings' projections surrounded him and then self-destructed. The power that exploded shook Qi Tiandi's true spirit. A true spirit being able to fight until now and unleash such terrifying power was enough to shock everyone. But now, Qi Tiandi's true spirit also sighed. Then it disappeared like the moon in the water. The heaven-abandoning Dharma decree also lost its golden light and dimmed. When this scene appeared on the light screen in the desolate border, all the cultivators in the celestial region fell silent. Their bodies were like wood, and their hearts were dead. What was the most tragic thing in the world? It was the birth of hope in despair, and then the destruction of that hope would lead to even deeper despair. Rather than that, it was better to end everyone's hopes from the beginning. It's over. It's all over. At this moment, all the souls in the celestial region cried. They were all in despair and prepared to welcome the final destruction of darkness. Chapter 1111. Previously, when Jun Wuhui and the other two supreme experts destroyed the ultimate calamity, everyone was overjoyed. They thought that the calamity would be nipped in the bud, and the celestial domain would be fine. However, who would have thought that the ultimate calamity was just a projection of power? Now, the true ultimate calamity had appeared. It carried the terrifying pressure of an ultimate boss. That dark power was enough to make all living creatures despair. It was as if everything in the world was about to be pulled into eternal darkness by the ultimate calamity. Everything is over. When the ultimate calamity breaks free from the seal of the immortal slaying sword, it will be the time for the celestial domain to face the ultimate calamity. At that time, the foreign realm will invade. Billions of lives will be bathed in blood, and the ultimate calamity will come early. Many celestial domain cultivators were in despair. There were even some present-age geniuses who roared with unwillingness. No, how can it be like this? I don't believe it. This is a golden era. I haven't fully grown yet. How can I be willing to die like this? That's right. Our era hasn't arrived yet. We haven't truly grown. The ending shouldn't be like this. Many peerless geniuses were shouting. They couldn't accept this result at all. This was a golden age. Geniuses rose and kings competed for supremacy. There was no lack of opportunities to prove their Tao. The reason why many seed-level geniuses went into hibernation was to wait for this golden era. Now, the black calamity struck, and all living creatures were about to be pulled into the darkness. Their future was cut off early, and they didn't have time to grow into supreme experts. This was undoubtedly the deepest despair. Many seed-level geniuses couldn't help but vomit blood, their expressions indignant. Is it really over? The Jun family ancestors clenched their fists tightly, unable to calm down. Although the Jun family had trump cards and could protect themselves, this wasn't the result that the Jun family wanted to see. Most importantly, Jun Wuhui and Jun Xiaoyao were in extreme danger. Jun Wuhui was still fine, as he was only one of the 3 pure ones. If Jun Xiaoyao died, it would undoubtedly be a fatal blow to the Jun family. If it really doesn't work, even if my Jun family has to sacrifice everything, we will slaughter our way into the foreign realm and save the father and son. Jun Taixian, Jun Tai A, and the other Quasi-Emperor ancient ancestors also had resolute and cold expressions on their faces. Xiaoyao, Gij, in the desolate border, on the battlefield of the 2 worlds' geniuses. When Jiang Luoli saw the scene on the screen, her tears fell like rain. She hated him. She hated herself for being too weak and unable to help Jun Xiaoyao. She hated herself even more for not being able to stand by Jun Xiaoyao's side at his most critical moment. Even if they died together, Jiang Luoli would not regret it. Ling Yin silently watched the scene on the light screen. His heart was also clenched as if it was being torn apart. She knew that no matter what, Jun Xiaoyao had already been engraved in her heart and soul. She couldn't keep her heart as still as water and remain indifferent. It was not only Jiang Luoli and Ling Yin. Everyone else who was related to Jun Xiaoyao, his followers, his former friends, and even some of his enemies were all lamenting. Everything was over. Skyless dark world. Qi Tianyi's true spirit dissipated. The ghost-masked woman's power disappeared. The only ones left were Jun Wuhui, whose white robes were stained with blood, the heavily injured mother of Hurricane Lily, and Jun Xiaoyao. At most, they could add the power of the immortal slaying sword and its sword spirit. However, even if it was as powerful as the immortal slaying sword, without a supreme expert controlling it, it could not completely suppress the disaster. In other words, the situation was over. It was as if the outcome was already decided. No existence can trap me. The world will wait for eternal darkness to descend. The ultimate disaster demonic voice echoed. Endless black blood surged towards the immortal slaying sword. Even the sword body that was shining with immortal light started to spread inch by inch of darkness. The immortal slaying sword's body was hazy as it tried its best to resist. However, it was still not enough. The disaster had been sleeping for countless years, accumulating power. Since it had awakened, how could it be suppressed so easily? Seems like there's no other way. The Hellflower Mother sighed as well. Her delicate body was covered in a hazy light as she healed her injured body. Even someone as powerful as the Hurricane Lily Mother could not do anything about this situation. At this moment, Jun Wuhui's voice sounded. Xiaoyao, you should leave first. Father will stay here. Jun Wuhui stood in the void, his body burning with the divine flames of faith. His tone was very calm, without the slightest feeling of parting with life and death. This was just one of Jun Wuhui's 3 pure ones. Jun Wuhui had already thought it through. Even if his body was destroyed, he would protect Jun Xiaoyao and leave. Jun Xiaoyao heard this and shook his head silently. Xiaoyao, you're not an impulsive person. Jun Wuhui frowned slightly, although he had never fulfilled his responsibility as a father. However, he had been paying attention to Jun Xiaoyao's news. Jun Xiaoyao was meticulous and calm. He was not the kind of person who would act on impulse. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao silently took out a protective talisman. This was left to him by Jun Wuhui. Father, in the protective talisman you left me, it was engraved that a gentleman would have no regrets in his life. Now, you want me to leave like this? Sorry, I can't do it. In terms of benefits and losses, Jun Xiaoyao's best choice was naturally to escape. Jun Xiaoyao had always been a calm and rational person who prioritized benefits. But now, he did not want to think about these gains and losses. He did not want to think about the outcome. He only wanted to fight. Jun Wuhui fell silent. Then he smiled again. This was his son. He was proud. Rumble. The tentacles of the ultimate disaster lashed out. It did not give Jun Wuhui and the others time to recover. Jun Wuhui took a step forward, like an invincible divine king. He did not try to persuade Jun Xiaoyao. This was Jun Xiaoyao's own choice. The Hurricane Lily Mother also made a move. She knew that there was the layer of karma from the demon-masked woman. She and Jun Xiaoyao were destined to be inextricably entangled, unable to completely separate. Look, the Divine King is still fighting. He still hasn't admitted defeat. In Desolate Border, many dejected immortal domain cultivators raised their heads, seeing Jun Wuhui, who is still fighting on the screen of light. Every single one of their eyes revealed moved expressions. Many people's eyes were completely red. It was to the extent where even the 7-foot-tall man had tears falling from the corners of his eyes, sighing for Jun Wuhui. For immortal domain to have this type of hero, it was the blessing of all living things. Feudal resistance. Is there any meaning to it? When the foreign kings saw this, they all felt great disdain, extremely cold and disdainful. This type of resistance, in their eyes, was stupid and laughable. They might as well directly accept their fate. Your June family really is stubborn. The ultimate disaster demonic voice echoed, carrying indifference and coldness. The immortal killing sword already gradually couldn't suppress it. Boundless darkness power seeped out from the ultimate disaster's body. Its tentacles lashed out at will, tearing apart great Tao order. Jun Wuhui was blasted back, his white clothes already dyed in blood. The Permetha flower mother also suffered damage to its foundation. Meanwhile, Jun Xiaoyao watched all of this. His handsome and incomparably handsome face froze like iron. For the first time, this was the first time Jun Xiaoyao felt a bit powerless. However, he didn't want to experience this type of thing. He had an unrivaled Tao heart, an undying faith. Unrivaled. This was the synonym for Jun Xiaoyao. No one could topple this. Even if what Jun Xiaoyao was facing right now was the ultimate disaster. Rumble. Jun Xiaoyao's unrivaled faith seemed to have stirred up the seed of faith in the inner universe. In an instant, that seed of faith that shone like a blazing sun suddenly erupted with millions and millions of strands of brilliance. A golden sea of faith surged. Jun Xiaoyao's entire body was surrounded by resplendent golden light of faith. Behind him, the seed of faith turned into a blazing sun, floating in the air. Crack! That seed of faith that had been brewing for a long time finally completely cracked open. Following that, what was released was a monstrous power, accompanied by the chanting and praises of all living beings. The existence that had been brewing within finally revealed itself. A golden avatar that was tens of thousands of feet tall broke out of the cocoon of the seed of faith, standing tall within the heavenless dark world. It was as if a supreme deity had broken through the world and descended here, suppressing the darkness. In an instant, the heavens shook and the darkness was dispelled. Countless gazes from both worlds landed on the golden avatar behind Jun Xiaoyao. Endless shock appeared in the eyes of all living beings. Chapter 11:12. The minds of the billions of living beings in the two worlds went blank when they saw this scene. Their thoughts were broken. What did they see? In the boundless dark realm, a golden Dharma body stood in the dark universe. The god's body was tens of thousands of feet tall. It was surrounded by the golden power of faith. It was as if billions of living beings surrounded the golden Dharma body, praising, worshiping, and praying. What's that? Are there more reinforcements? No, it looks like the Son of God of the Jun family, although the golden Dharma body was shrouded in mist and light. Even so, everyone was still able to see that his godlike appearance was exactly the same as Jun Xiaoyao's. In other words, this golden Dharma body was not a true spirit like Qi Tiandi. Instead, it was Jun Xiaoyao's own technique. Thinking of this, countless living beings in the two worlds felt their scalps go numb. They could not believe it. They could feel that the golden Dharma body was extremely powerful. The Emperor's aura was vast and mighty. The god's aura filled the air. This was not a technique that a supreme being should be able to use. However, Jun Xiaoyao did it, not to mention others. Even Jun Xiaoyao himself was speechless. He did not expect the seed of faith to give birth to a Dharma body. Yes, this was not an ordinary Dharma body. It was a Dharma body formed by the power of faith of all living beings. Generally speaking, only gods could be worshipped. For example, the true Lord of Gulen of the Gulen sect and the one-armed Lord of Hades of the Hades bloodline were examples of supreme beings who became gods and were worshipped by all living beings. Jun Xiaoyao could feel that this Dharma body alone had the potential of a god. If there was enough power of faith, it would not be a dream for the Dharma body to become a god in the future. As expected of a 9-star reward, Jun Xiaoyao sighed secretly. When he got the seed of faith, he was curious about how it could reach the 9-star reward level. Now he understood. The 9-star reward was a little low. At least, Jun Xiaoyao thought that the seed of faith was definitely worth 10 stars. At this moment, the golden, godly spiritual body stood in the darkness like a giant torch, illuminating the darkness. Even Jun Wuhui and the red spider lily's mother were surprised by the surging power. Xiaoyao, Jun Wuhui didn't know what to say. Wasn't his son a little too heaven-defying? As expected, those who were chosen by her won't fall into such dire straits so easily. The red spider lily's mother muttered to herself. The blood-stained eyeball, which was the size of a planet, was the ultimate calamity. Its gaze carried a terrifying pressure as it landed on Jun Xiaoyao. To be honest, an existence like calamity was also a little unexpected. It could feel the surging power of faith contained in the golden, godly, celestial body. This might not be able to completely restrain the power of his black blood, but it would at least affect it to a certain extent. It's just an empty shell. Once the power of faith is exhausted, this Dharma body of yours will be completely useless. Ultimate Disaster's voice echoed throughout the universe. It had to be said that it had indeed seen through some things. Jun Xiaoyao's godly spiritual body was powered by the power of faith. It was precisely because of the support of 10 billion believers that the godly spiritual body could be used. Otherwise, why would Jun Xiaoyao need to cultivate? If he directly summoned the godly spiritual body, he could crush all the geniuses of the past and present with one finger. Even the great emperors couldn't do anything to Jun Xiaoyao. But that was unrealistic. There were gains and losses. Of course, if Jun Xiaoyao had enough believers, hundreds of billions, trillions, hundreds of trillions, the power of the godly spiritual body would naturally increase exponentially. Whether it's useful or not, it's enough to suppress you now. Jun Xiaoyao's hair fluttered, and his eyes were filled with disdain. Previously, he could only watch from the side as his father and the others fought bloody battles, but he couldn't do anything. Now he had the godly spiritual body. Jun Xiaoyao finally had the qualifications to join the battlefield. Fight! The word fight burst out from Jun Xiaoyao's mouth. Golden spears and armored horses, vast and mighty, swallowing tens of thousands of miles like a tiger. This was Jun Xiaoyao's suppressed anger bursting out. All the unwillingness from before was vented at this moment. Rumble. Jun Xiaoyao made a move, and the 10,000 feet godly spiritual body behind him also made a move at the same time, acting in unison with Jun Xiaoyao. The golden, godly spiritual body stretched out a golden palm, covering the sky, and slapped down like the hand of an ancient god. The void within hundreds of millions of miles shook and resonated. The bright golden light of faith tore through the heavy darkness. Swoosh! The tentacles of ultimate disaster swung out and collided with the golden palm of the godly spiritual body. Monstrous waves burst out, the world trembled, and boundless chaotic energy surged. What made all the living beings' eyes dull was Jun Xiaoyao's godly spiritual body blocked it. This, Jun family son of God. What kind of method is that? It feels like some kind of godly spiritual body, but it is too powerful on a completely different level from the Jun family son of God. The desolate border was trembling. Countless immortal domain cultivators were pleasantly surprised by Jun Xiaoyao's performance. This father and son pair were truly monstrous and unparalleled. This method left even the foreign kings shocked. Some immortal kings even felt a great sense of pressure from the godly spiritual body. On the Jun family's side, many geniuses were roaring excited. Jun Xiaoyao's performance was simply stunning. Even Divine Universe Great Emperor was surprised, but his eyes were deep, seeing some clues. A supreme, godly spiritual body with the power of faith as the foundation. However, the consumption is too great, it can't last long. It was indeed as Divine Universe Great Emperor thought. At this moment, every time the godly spiritual body attacked, it would consume a huge amount of power of faith. This power of faith was all collected by Jun Xiaoyao during the time he was in the foreign realm, establishing the Destiny sect. It wasn't too little, but it wasn't too much either. After all, the opponent of the godly spiritual body was the ultimate calamity, so the power of faith consumed was naturally more. I have to end the battle as soon as possible, But what should I do? Jun Xiaoyao's brows were tightly furrowed. The godly spiritual body only gave Jun Xiaoyao the qualifications to participate in the battle. But to say that it could directly kill the ultimate calamity was a bit of a stretch. But the power of faith couldn't support the consumption of the godly spiritual body for a long time. Therefore, the situation fell into a dilemma. Jun Wuhui and the mother of the spider lilies were also taking action, assisting the godly spiritual body and the immortal slaying sword to suppress the calamity. But this wasn't a long-term solution. However, on the desolate borders side, the Jun family's ancestor was shouting, Xiaoyao's godly spiritual body is activated by the power of faith. Let's chant together and support Xiaoyao with the power of faith. The Jun family's ancestors' words quickly resonated. At this moment, in the heavenless dark world, Jun Xiaoyao was the last hope, the last light. In addition, Jun Xiaoyao had used his body to suppress the evil thoughts of the gods and save the border and the world of the godly ruins. He had also earned a wave of heroes' faith. So now, no one would reject him. At the border, the fourth Master Scar shouted loudly, "A tiger father will not beget a dog's son." The son of the godly king has also saved the world of the godly ruins and the border. He is the hero of the immortal realm. Immediately, the endless power of faith appeared again. That was the faith and prayers of all living beings in the immortal realm to Jun Xiaoyao. They prayed that Jun Xiaoyao could end this dark calamity. Just like before, Jun Wuhui had supported the power of faith of all living beings. At this moment, the endless golden light spots turned into a torrent, crossing the foreign realm and injecting into the godly spiritual body. The godly spiritual body, which was originally slightly dimmed, shone with a divine light. The power of faith seemed to have turned into golden flames, rising on the surface of the godly spiritual body. The power of the godly spiritual body increased by more than several times. Not enough. The power is not enough. Jun Xiaoyao's brows were tightly knitted. Although this power was strong enough, it was not enough to deal with the ultimate disaster. Right? A thought flashed through Jun Xiaoyao's mind. He still had a trump card that he hadn't used. The heavenly black blood. This was a 10-star reward that was higher than the 9-star reward. If Jun Xiaoyao fused with it, he would be able to enter the dark state and his strength would skyrocket. But he had never had the chance to use it. Then, what would happen if he fused the heavenly black blood with the godly spiritual body? Chapter 11:13. The god's Dharma body was already strong enough. Coupled with the power of faith of all living beings, its strength increased by several times. Then, what if it was stacked with the power of the dark blood? This was definitely a crazy idea. The dark blood of God was purer than the black blood of ultimate calamity. The power that it could add was naturally stronger. However, the only uncertain factor, after fusing with the dark blood and entering the dark state, it might not be able to control itself and fall into madness and chaos. It was probably the same for the god's Dharma body and would be affected. But now, looking at the ultimate calamity that was almost unstoppable and sweeping through everything, did Jun Xiaoyao have a choice? There was no other choice at all. Even if the god's Dharma body would fall into darkness and madness and lose control, it was still better than being destroyed by ultimate calamity. Without any hesitation, Jun Xiaoyao directly took out the dark blood of God from the inner universe and landed it on the god's Dharma body. When the dark blood of God appeared, the entire dark and broken universe, all the black blood and black fog that fill the air, seemed to have some kind of reaction and were boiling. Ultimate calamity's huge blood-red eyes were locked onto the dark blood of God. That is impossible. How can you have that kind of blood? The demonic voice of ultimate calamity changed for the first time, which meant that its emotions had undergone a huge change. It was hard to imagine that ultimate calamity would lose its composure like this. That drop of blood. Everyone present, whether it was Jun Wuhui or the mother of the red spider lilies, when they saw the drop of black blood that was as deep as the night, their eyes were filled with extreme seriousness. They could feel a sense of foreboding. That was something purer than ultimate calamity's dark blood. It might even be the source of the true darkness. As for ultimate calamity in the form of an eyeball, it was just a disseminator of the dark blood, not the true source of the dark blood. The dark blood of God directly fused into the golden god's Dharma body. Instantly, it was like a drop of ink dripping into water. The entire dazzling golden Dharma body began to spread the power of the dark blood. It was like a god that began to gradually fall into darkness. Jun Xiaoyao's entire body also rushed into the god's Dharma body and fused with it. That way, he would be able to better control the godly spirit's Dharma body. A boundless dark energy emanated from the godly celestial body. In the blink of an eye, Jun Xiaoyao, who had entered the body of the godly spirit's doppelganger, there was only darkness in front of him. Vaguely, he seemed to see a boundless dark demonic figure sitting on an ice-cold throne. It carried an aura of eternal loneliness. It was like the source of darkness, the ultimate destruction of everything. Could it be? Jun Xiaoyao was shocked. This foreign land's ultimate disaster was nothing more than that dark demonic figure's eyeball. If that was the case, it would be too terrifying. Just how strong was that dark demonic shadow? The boundless darkness was eroding Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness. Originally, the corrosive power of the black blood was already strong enough to cause all living beings to fall into madness. And now, the true azure black blood had merged. That kind of corrosive power was indescribable. Even someone as strong as Jun Xiaoyao felt boundless darkness trying to drown his mind. Rumble. On the surface of the golden, godly, celestial body, dark runes were flowing. A dark energy that was far stronger than the ultimate disaster's black blood was flowing. Dark patterns spread out on the golden, godly, celestial body. It was like the combination of a god and a demon. For a moment, an extremely terrifying power was emitted from the godly, celestial body. It was originally a godly celestial body with vast emperor's might and extremely strong pressure. At this moment, its power had increased by more than several times. The bright golden power of faith and the pitch-black power of the black blood. Originally, it should be the attributes of water and fire that were incompatible. But now, it was forcefully fused by Jun Xiaoyao. The power that erupted shook all the worlds in the universe. That kind of blood is not something that an ordinary person can fuse with. However, if I get it, an emotion appeared in the ultimate disaster. Greed. It could imagine that if it obtained that drop of dark blood, then forget about breaking the seal of the immortal slaying sword. It could even recover to its peak and surpass its previous self. Rumble. The ultimate disaster made its move again. It reflected the figures of many dark emperors and immortals. They all suppressed the godly, celestial body. Not good. Xiaoyao is putting himself in danger. Jun Wuhui's expression changed slightly. He knew the corrosive power of the black blood, and the drop of blood that Jun Xiaoyao sacrificed was purer than ordinary black blood, but it was also more terrifying. Hundreds of powerful projections surrounded the godly, celestial body. They surrounded him so tightly that no one could get through. Even its 100,000 feet body was drowned by the power of the black blood. The atmosphere instantly fell into a dead silence. Everyone was silent. The border area was also deathly silent. Lord Son of God. Everyone was nervous and uneasy. Jun Xiaoyao could be said to be their last hope. If even he was defeated, then it was unimaginable who could block the terrifying ultimate disaster. Countless creatures from both worlds were paying attention. And it was under this kind of attention, wisps of light were emitted from the center, surrounded by the Dark Emperors. A terrifying and majestic power was brewing, gathering, and then erupting. Bang! A thunderous explosion shook the entire universe. Many Dark Emperors' phantoms and immortals were directly torn apart by this unparalleled power. All darkness was annihilated, because there was a deeper level of darkness bursting out. Everyone's eyes widened. They saw it. That golden, godly, celestial body was surrounded by black, demonic patterns. It was like the combination of God and demon. A mighty voice came from the godly, celestial body. The light of the three realms is bestowed by me. With a thought of darkness, the world will sink. The 100,000 feet godly celestial body raised its hands. With one hand, it controlled the supreme and bright golden power of faith. With one hand, it controlled the extremely deep and boundless power of the black blood. It was simply like the god of destruction and regeneration. Half of it was God, half of it was demon. Jun Xiaoyao used his infinite will and invincible Tao heart to control the power of the black blood. He was not controlled by it. The golden, godly, celestial body officially entered dark mode. With a thought of God and demon, it intimidated the eternal space-time. How is this possible? Ultimate calamity lost its composure. In its anger, boundless waves burst out. The power of the black blood of the heavenly celestial body actually completely suppressed its black blood power. It was simply the feeling of a son facing his father. Ultimate calamity's black blood power and the black blood power of the heavenly celestial body were on a completely different level. Even though calamity's power was monstrous, the black blood was completely suppressed and did not have much effect. This was equivalent to cutting off one's own arm, because its strongest method was the power of the black blood. Now that the power of the black blood was useless, ultimate calamity's situation was naturally not good. Ultimate calamity, you can't bring the end of the world to the immortal realm, because today is your doomsday. The 100,000 feet godly celestial body, which was exactly the same as Jun Xiaoyao, opened its mouth and spoke. The divine voice was mighty and oppressive. An extremely simple ancient bronze coffin was brought out by the godly celestial body. The moment it appeared, an ancient, vast, and desolate aura was emitted, covering this universe. The ultimate calamity's blood-stained eyeballs saw this ancient coffin. He was instantly shocked and lost his composure. Countless tentacles were trembling. No, how could you have this thing? Chapter 11:14. Ever since it appeared in the world, the ultimate calamity had been very indifferent. It had an invincible attitude that looked down on everything. Even when it was injured later on, the ultimate calamity was very calm. It thought that the outcome was already decided and that it was only a matter of time. But now, when it saw the ancient bronze coffin, the ultimate calamity, which had always been indifferent and without any human emotions, completely lost its composure. To put it simply, it couldn't hold it in anymore. This ancient bronze coffin was naturally the 10-star reward that Jun Xiaoyao received from signing in at the Skyless Dark World, the Three Worlds coffin. To be honest, at first, Jun Xiaoyao didn't know what use this Three Worlds coffin had and why it could reach the 10-star reward. But later on, Jun Xiaoyao discovered that the Three Worlds coffin seemed to have some kind of reaction to the ultimate calamity. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao took out the Three Worlds coffin at this moment to see if it could suppress the ultimate calamity. Now that he saw the ultimate calamity's reaction, Jun Xiaoyao completely understood. The Three Worlds coffin and the source of the black blood were indeed related. In fact, it might even be related to the dark demonic shadow sitting on the cold throne that he saw earlier. The Three Worlds coffin was simple and heavy. The sun, moon, stars, grass, trees, insects, and fish were carved on it. It carried a desolate aura. Obviously, this was an extremely ancient item with a primitive aura. Its quality was obviously not something that an imperial weapon could compare to. When the Three Worlds coffin was taken out, the ultimate calamity couldn't suppress its emotions. All its tentacles lashed out at the god's Dharma body, and even the great Tao would instantly collapse. At this moment, the god's Dharma body that had entered the dark mode wasn't afraid at all. He controlled the power of faith in one hand and the power of black blood in the other. At the same time, he activated the Three Worlds coffin. The Emperor's might shook the universe, and the heavens cried out in unison. The sky cracked. The unparalleled might directly pierced through this dark universe. Many tentacles broke, and the universe collapsed. The ultimate calamity was forced back, letting out a boundless demonic roar. The three worlds coffin was like a towering demonic mountain, suppressing the ultimate calamity. The majestic force pressed down, restricting many of the ultimate calamity's powers. Immediately, Jun Xiaoyao controlled the god's Dharma body to step forward. He stretched out his hand and pulled out the immortal slaying sword that pierced through the ultimate calamity. Clang! In an instant, billions of strands of sword light and immortal radiance bloomed, illuminating the boundless universe. Every strand of sword light seemed to be able to cut through the boundless universe and cleave apart the heavy darkness. The godly spirit Dharma body wielded the celestial slaying sword. Its power skyrocketed. Originally, because the immortal extermination sword did not have a master to use it, the power it could unleash was limited. But now, the godly spirit Dharma body wielded the immortal slaying sword and activated its boundless power. It could sweep through time and space. There's something familiar about it. The blurry figure, which was the sword spirit of Zhu Xian, muttered to himself. It was impossible to tell whether the voice was male or female. In reality, if it were anyone else, it would be impossible for them to pull it out, let alone activate it. Only those with the purest bloodline of the Jun family had the right to control it. Damn it! I am the ultimate calamity, eternally indestructible. The ultimate disaster was shaking, bursting forth with power. A torrential black tide swept out. But it was useless. The three-world bronze coffin was like an eternal mountain that firmly suppressed the ultimate calamity. Jun Xiaoyao's Dharma body wielded the immortal killing sword. Boundless power poured into the immortal exterminating sword. Boundless immortal Tao patterns curled around the sword body. An indescribably resplendent sword radiance hacked out. It was millions and millions of li long, as if even the river of time could be severed. This sword directly cleaved the entire skyless dark world in half, completely breaking it apart. Then, the immortal Tao sword radiance descended, hacking towards the ultimate calamity. Qila. At this moment, heaven and earth sunk. Everything ceased to exist. Only endless resplendent sword radiance could be seen, filling this heaven and earth universe. In the desolate border, that screen of light was shaking intensely. There was only the extremely resplendent sword radiance on it, making many people unable to open their eyes. The creatures of the two worlds were all endlessly shocked at this moment. Who would have thought that in the end, the ultimate calamity would be fought? It wasn't Jun Wuhui, it wasn't Qi Tianyi's true spirit, it wasn't that mysterious ghost-masked woman. Instead, it was Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao, who only had supreme being cultivation. The foreign kings were also shocked. They didn't expect an immortal domain genius who was like an ant in their eyes. He was actually the most crucial figure in this great battle. What exactly is the result? While looking at that resplendent sword radiance, countless people were nervous, their breathing hurried. This was a battle that affected the situation of the two worlds. Finally, that boundless sword radiance began to scatter. When the scene appeared, all of the foreign creatures felt like they were suffocating, their hearts instantly stopping. What did they see? That ultimate calamity that was the size of a giant ancient star was actually cleaved in half like a watermelon. Hiss! Countless foreign creatures sucked in a cold breath of air. They were completely stunned, even their souls seemingly frozen, all of their blood frozen, unable to flow. Ultimate calamity was cleaved in half. No, it still isn't over. There were some foreign, undying kings who were still stubborn, not giving up. Damn it! In the ruined, skyless dark world, the ultimate calamity that was cleaved in half released a heaven overflowing roar. Even though it was cleaved in half, it didn't completely die. It was because it wasn't humanoid to begin with, but rather an eyeball that carried rotten flesh and black blood. Countless tentacles were hacked apart by the sword radiance. Only the blood-stained eyeball that was cleaved in half was still resisting, erupting with power. Even your June family ancestor couldn't bury me. An ant like you, what qualifications do you have? Ultimate calamity's black blood surged. Countless flesh tendrils emerged from the torn wound, wishing to merge back together. That's right. The supreme being Realm Jun Xiaoyao, in the eyes of calamity, was even less than an ant. If not for the divine avatar, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't have the qualifications to fight against calamity. However, Jun Xiaoyao only asked for the result, not the process. I already said, today is your doomsday. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent, his tone cold. The Jun family ancestor couldn't completely erase ultimate calamity. It was because heaven-reaching ancient emperor didn't have the heavenly black blood, nor did he have the three-world coffin. These were all the best methods to restrain ultimate calamity. Jun Xiaoyao's divine avatar attacked again. A sword hacked down, sword radiance boundless for millions of li, reflecting the scene of an immortal god's blood. The immortal slaying sword was said to be able to slay immortals, but its true power was far from this. Under the divine avatar's control, the sword radiance was incomparably dazzling and resplendent, illuminating the world. This was a glimmer of light that appeared after the darkness. Pucci, ultimate calamity, was cut again from 2 petals to 4 petals. It wanted to burst forth with endless black blood power. In the end, it was restrained by the black blood power. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao was almost like ultimate calamity's natural enemy. All kinds of methods were used to restrain calamity. Then, the three-world coffin also opened, and a gap appeared. Boundless aura surged, as if an ancient immortal god had awakened. The boundless and terrifying power was absorbing and devouring everything, burying everything within. The ultimate calamity that was cut in half by the immortal slaying sword was directly pulled into the three-world coffin. No, I'm unwilling. I'm the apocalypse. I'm the eternal extinction. The ultimate calamity's demonic voice reverberated. It had a premonition that if it was pulled in, it would definitely be killed and refined, without the slightest chance of survival. Because this ancient artifact was born to restrain black blood. Chapter 11:15. Who would have thought that the insufferably arrogant ultimate calamity would fall to such a state? Its eyeball-like body was divided into 4 parts. It was even suppressed by the three-world coffin, about to be pulled in and completely destroyed. Ultimate calamity was unwilling, doing its best to resist. It was originally a cat toying with a mouse. Yet now, ultimate calamity became that mouse that was being toyed with. How ironic was this? No, this is impossible. There were some foreign supreme experts whose faces were pale, simply in disbelief. The unmatched ultimate calamity was going to be defeated? Hurry, in return. Some of the ultimate Emperor clan's kings were moved. If ultimate calamity completely broke through its seal, it would immediately awaken the ultimate Emperor race's undying calamity. Then, they would bring calamity to a mortal domain together. But now, ultimate calamity's situation was not good. It was unknown how long their ultimate Emperor race's ancestors would have to sleep for before waking up. This was not what the foreign kings wanted to see. That was why they wanted to return to the foreign side. But how could a mortal domain give the foreign side this chance? This emperor said that you all can only stay here. Divine Universe Emperor and the other Jun family's 3 emperors took action. The other immortal domain supreme experts also took action. No matter what, they had to delay the foreign king's footsteps. Meanwhile, in desolate border, the 2 armies were also in a stalemate. Before ultimate calamity was completely suppressed, there was no way immortal domain's great army would allow the foreign side's great army to leave safely. In that instant, everyone's eyes were on Skyless Dark World side. What was the result of ultimate calamity? On Dark World side, the Dark Universe was cut open by the immortal punishing sword radiance, badly damaged. Jun Xiaoyao's 10,000 zhang tall divine body held the immortal punishing sword, the three-world coffin floating above its head. It towered in the boundless universe, golden radiance flickering, black patterns swirling. It was like the combination of a god and a devil. A single thought created the world. A single thought destroyed the world, even though the divine body's radiance was much dimmer than before. But the remaining power was enough to last until the end of this great battle. Meanwhile, ultimate calamity was doing its best to resist the three-world coffin's power. It, who had always viewed everything as ants, was now experiencing the same thing. What was called life and death. It's life and death it could not decide. Making an enemy of a mortal domain, making an enemy of the June family. This is the result. Let's end it. June Xiaoyao's divine incarnation held the fairy-slaying sword in its hand, gathering all the energy in its body and swinging the sword at the ultimate disaster once more. He struck out with his sword. The entire universe seemed to have been annihilated. The resplendent sword immortal radiance suppressed everything. This sword could sever the river of time. It could destroy the heavens of all eternity. Pucci, the boundless immortal slaying sword's radiance continuously sliced the ultimate calamity's body into pieces, breaking it down. He couldn't even resist. The power of the heavenly black blood completely suppressed the power of the calamity's black blood, causing it to be unable to recover. The situation was hopeless, and the ultimate disaster was powerless to reverse the situation. Rumble. The three-world bronze coffin once again released a primordial and ancient mysterious aura. The corner of the coffin lid seemed to be about to bury the heavens. Ultimate Calamity's severed eyeball body began to be sucked in. It also knew that it was finished. Even if I die, I won't let the June family off easy. Blood sacrifice, curse of calamity. The demonic sound of the ultimate calamity echoed. Its body began to explode and burn. The ultimate calamity was actually sacrificing itself and self-detonating inch by inch. Xiaoyao, destroy it, Jun Wuhui shouted. When he heard the curse of calamity, Jun Wuhui frowned slightly. This was an absolutely terrifying bloodline curse. It could easily destroy some of the undying families and families of the ancients with emperor bloodlines. As long as one person was cursed, all living beings related to that person's bloodline would also be cursed. This was a vicious move to exterminate a family. It was also a terrifying ability of the ultimate calamity's body. And now, the ultimate calamity was sacrificing itself and self-detonating. It wanted to use the curse of calamity to completely destroy the June family. Who has the ability to sever the supreme bloodline of my June family? Jun Xiaoyao's expression was cold. His body attacked again. However, in the void, endless dark runes were branded. This wasn't something that Jun Xiaoyao could avoid just because he wanted to. Once the curse of calamity was unleashed, it would directly fall on everyone in the family that was cursed. Jun Xiaoyao instantly felt that dark matter appeared in his bloodline. It wanted to corrode his bloodline and completely destroy it. However, the Jun family's bloodline wasn't ordinary either. It emitted a bright light and resisted the curse of calamity. At the same time, Jun Wuhui and all the members of the Jun family in the wilderness, they immediately felt that the dark matter of the curse of calamity appeared in their bloodline. Immediately, some of the weaker cultivators of the Jun family turned pale. They spat out mouthfuls of blood and collapsed to the ground. Even the powerful cultivators of the Jun family, who were 9th-level saints, turned pale. Their bodies trembled, and they fell from the sky. And the stronger one was, the stronger their resistance to the curse of calamity. The ancestors of the Jun family and the ancient ancestors only frowned and used their power to suppress the darkness in their bodies. The divine universe emperor said coldly, "The curse of calamity is indeed powerful. It can easily destroy the emperor bloodline. But the Jun family's bloodline isn't as simple as the emperor bloodline. If any other clan of the ancients were to bear the curse of calamity, they would instantly die. No matter how many of them there were, they would all die. Their entire family would be wiped out. But when it fell on the Jun family, it only affected them a little. It wasn't particularly fatal." How is this possible? The ultimate calamity was stunned. His curse of calamity could easily destroy the clan of the ancients. But not many people in the June family died. If you can destroy the June family with just a curse, then what right does the June family have to stand for so long? Jun Xiaoyao didn't worry about this curse from the beginning to the end. There was even the power of the heavenly black blood flowing in his body. This curse of calamity didn't affect Jun Xiaoyao at all. He could completely ignore it. The ultimate calamity cursed him with loneliness. Damn it, the immortal bloodline, the ultimate calamity, trembled unwillingly. It's completely over. Jun Xiaoyao's godly spirit Dharma body raised its sword. Endless surging power gathered. The godly spirit Dharma body slashed with this sword. Slay the calamity. The sword radiance was bright and dazzling. Even the calamity collapsed in the end. It fell into disintegration. Although I am destroyed, the true calamity, the true darkness, will not disappear. When that wisp of darkness returns from the source, all worlds will be buried. The apocalypse's apocalypse isn't just me. The ultimate calamity let out a final roar. Then, all of its remains were sucked into the three-world coffin. In an instant, a thunderous sound came from the three-world coffin. The ultimate calamity was disintegrated, refined, and completely destroyed. It disappeared from the world. Heaven and earth returned to silence. Everything had come to an end. The foreign realm's calamity had come to an end. The godly spirit Dharma body that was tens of thousands of feet tall dimmed to the extreme. Fighting against the ultimate calamity consumed too much energy. All of the power of faith was used up. In the end, the godly spirit Dharma body quietly returned to Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe. Only Jun Xiaoyao was left. His white robe fluttered as he stood in the endless broken universe. At this moment, the endless living beings of the two worlds were looking at the majestic white-robed figure. He was like a young king. Chapter 11:16. Who would have thought the ultimate calamity would end in such a way? Even the ancestors of the Jun clan could only seal the ultimate calamity. They were unable to destroy it completely. But now, the ultimate calamity that had been unbeatable for thousands of years had fallen in the hands of a young Nine-Heaven Supreme. It could be said that this was something that none of the living beings in the two realms had expected. Even now, the desolate border was still in dead silence. Many people had yet to react. The son of God of the Jun clan killed the ultimate calamity. The cultivators of the immortal realms were stunned. They had yet to recover from a shock. That's right. He killed the ultimate calamity, not sealed it. The ultimate calamity will no longer exist in the foreign realm. The calamity has been eliminated. The cultivators of the immortal realms finally collected their thoughts. They let out joyful roars that shook the heavens and earth. The Son of God is unparalleled in the world. The Son of God of the Jun clan has saved the nine heavens' immortal realm. Jun Xiaoyao will always be a god. The endless roars shook the world and overturned the sky. Everyone finally collected their thoughts. They were so happy that they almost went crazy. Xiaoyao did not let us down. There are talents in every generation, each leading the world for hundreds of years. In the next 10,000 years, Xiaoyao will be the only one to lead the Jun family. The elders, ancestors, and ancient ancestors of the Jun clan burst out laughing. So what if the Jun clan was cursed by the curse of calamity? As long as Jun Xiaoyao grew stronger, the Jun clan could continue to prosper. The eyes of the cultivators of the immortal realms were filled with admiration. Many geniuses reacted the same way. As for the geniuses of the factions that were against the Jun clan and Jun Xiaoyao, they were wearing complicated expressions with helplessness. Meanwhile, the female cultivators of the immortal realms were going crazy. That kind of fanatical longing could no longer be described as crazy. Brother Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli wore a brilliant smile, revealing her sparkling canine teeth. Her eyes were filled with tears of joy. It was unimaginable how happy she was. The man of her dreams, the hero who saved the immortal realms. Since the ancient times, who could make all of immortal domain venerate and worship them. Other than Jun Wuhui, there was only Xiaoyao. How is this possible? Compared to the cheers and joy of the immortal region, the faces of countless foreign creatures turned deathly white in disbelief. Even the immortal king's bodies were trembling, on the verge of collapse, not daring to believe this. Their foreign realm's great unmatched calamity was actually destroyed by a young heaven's pride from a mortal domain, although there were many reasons behind it. But all of this was because of Jun Xiaoyao. He is only a Jizuan realm, but he already possesses so many means to suppress calamities. If he were to mature in the future, when many foreign, undying kings thought of this, their hearts went cold. With Jun Xiaoyao's talent, not to mention reaching the paramount realm, even if it was just a breakthrough to the quasi-emperor realm, it was still a great threat. If he corroborated the Tao and became an emperor, then that would be even more of a great disaster for the other side. Most importantly, it was fine if he only had strength and means. Jun Xiaoyao's schemes and shrewdness were still so deep. He turned into the primal chaos body, deceiving everyone in the other side. This was a heaven's pride who combined talent, strength, and wisdom. He was definitely the nightmare of the other side. No, we have to kill him. Ultimate Emperor Clan's king released heaven overflowing killing intent. It was because Jun Xiaoyao eliminated calamity. Their Ultimate Emperor Clan's disaster-level ancient ancestors wouldn't be able to wake up in a short amount of time. It could be said that the destruction of the ultimate calamity affected the other side too greatly. The foreign side's unbridled arrogance that greatly damaged their vitality, their momentum surging like a rainbow, was completely suppressed. For a short period of time, it would be difficult for the other side to pose any great threat to a mortal domain. What kind of crooked thoughts are you all having? This battle hasn't ended yet. Divine Universe Great Emperor also released a bright laugh, his mood extremely good, directly taking action. There was no way they would allow the foreign realms kings to return to the other side and deal with Jun Xiaoyao, Jun Wuhui, and the others. A great battle erupted between the two realms again. Only, this time, Immortal Domain's momentum was like a rainbow, sweeping away their previous decline. Meanwhile, the originally belligerent foreign creatures instead lost all fighting spirit. On Skyless Dark World side, everything returned to silence. The three-world coffin floated in the void. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand, retrieving it. He immediately sensed an incomparably majestic wave of power within the three-world coffin. Could it be the energy left behind after killing and refining calamity? Jun Xiaoyao raised his brows. However, this was good as well. It just happened to bring Jun Xiaoyao cultivation resources. Even if the ultimate calamity died, he still had to squeeze out the last bit of its value. After completely eliminating the ultimate calamity, Jun Xiaoyao also released a sigh of relief. However, he didn't completely relax. After all, the true great calamity wasn't brought about by the ultimate calamity alone. The apocalypse had 4 heavenly revelations: plague, famine, war, and death. The ultimate calamity was merely one of them. This meant that in the future, there might be other great terrors that would appear. What Jun Xiaoyao cared about even more was what? It was the scene that appeared when the dark blood was fused. A dark demonic figure sat on an eternally cold throne. If it was really as Jun Xiaoyao thought, the ultimate calamity was merely an eyeball of that dark demonic figure. It was simply unimaginable how terrifying that existence was. Xiaoyao, although Father had great expectations for you, your performance still made Father incomparably happy. Jun Wuhui came to Jun Xiaoyao's side. Although his white clothes were stained with blood, it didn't change his majestic divine king appearance. Although father and son met before, because of the calamity, they didn't have time to exchange greetings. Now, looking at Jun Xiaoyao, Jun Wuhui was incomparably proud. He was even happier than when he personally killed the calamity. I used many methods. Father is the true hero, Jun Xiaoyao said sincerely. Indeed, whether it was the seed of faith that transformed into a god's dharma body, the three-world bronze coffin, or the dark blood, They were all things that Jun Xiaoyao obtained from signing in. It could be said that it was effortless. As for Jun Wuhui, he had always relied on himself to suppress the three great forbidden lands. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao still respected Jun Wuhui from the bottom of his heart. Xiaoyao, I'm sorry. Father didn't fulfill his responsibility as a father. I've let you and your mother down. Jun Wuhui's eyes revealed an apologetic look. He was a hero and faith in the eyes of the world. However, he had let his family down. Since ancient times, it has been difficult for a country to have both sides. Father, mother, and I have never blamed you. We are proud of you. Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly. He was a transmigrator and didn't have the temperament of a child. Naturally, he wouldn't mind such a small matter. Jun Wuhui's eyes revealed a hint of relief. How lucky was a man to have such a wife and child. I almost forgot, this is the first time I've met you. Take this as a greeting gift. Jun Wuhui's heart moved. In the distance, a small green bird flapped its wings and flew over. There was a hint of panic in its eyes. Jun Xiaoyao looked over and was stunned at first, but after sensing its quasi-immortal aura, his face also revealed a hint of astonishment. This is Fufeng of Gojoseon? Jun Xiaoyao was a little speechless. Fufeng of Gojoseon's true form was an ancient mutant, the Azure Sky Rock. But no matter what, he couldn't associate it with this small green bird in front of him. It was very strange. Fufeng of Gojoseon, which was this small green bird, flew to Jun Xiaoyao's side. He was also a little embarrassed, and his mood was extremely complicated. When he was at Ares Academy, Jun Xiaoyao was an absolute ant in his eyes. He could crush him with one finger. But now, Fufeng of Gojoseon never expected. It was fine that Jun Xiaoyao had such an amazing father. He was actually so amazing that he directly destroyed the ultimate calamity. Chapter 11:17. Fufeng of Gojoseon. I trust you've been well since we last met. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Fufeng of Gojoseon calmly. That was then, and this was now. Who would have thought that it would be like this? However, Jun Xiaoyao also understood. It turned out that Jun Wuhui had been hiding in Ares Academy all this time. He was watching him silently from the dark. As for everything Fufeng of Gojoseon did, Jun Wuhui obviously saw it all. That was why he suppressed him. Oh right, father, Shanao of Beach of Ares Academy is... Jun Xiaoyao asked curiously. He finally understood why Shanao of Beach took care of him so much. It turned out that Jun Wuhui was the mastermind behind all this. Shanao of Beach was once trapped in a forbidden area. He was saved by the distant ancestor, Qi Tiandi, and has been hiding in the foreign territory ever since, Jun Wuhui said. So he's someone from the same era as the distant ancestor. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly understood. However, Shanao of Beak's seniority was there. He was definitely an antique in the foreign territory, a living fossil. I've already set up a restriction in his body. You can use the Jun family bloodline to activate it, and you can control his life and death. Although he's only a pseudo-immortal, it's not bad to use him as a mount, Jun Wuhui said. Hearing this, Fufeng of Gojoseon's heart twitched. A pseudo-immortal had to be used as a mount. Moreover, he had become the mount of Jun Xiaoyao, who he had once regarded as an ant. Who could accept this? However, was there any use in resisting? In the end, it was a dead end. To Jun Wuhui and Jun Xiaoyao, there was no loss at all. At most, they would lose him out. However, he would lose his life. Fufeng of Gojoseon was very sensible and also very timid. He cherished his life very much and did not want to die just like that. Do you still have any thoughts about Xiangling now? Jun Xiaoyao looked at Fufeng of Gojoseon with a playful tone. I don't dare. Fufeng of Gojoseon lowered his head. Although he was a pseudo-immortal ranked being, he did not have the courage to fight back against Jun Xiaoyao, who could kill an ultimate calamity. Your life and death is in my hands. Behave yourself, and you can still live. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. Yes. Fufeng of Gojoseon completely admitted defeat. Jun Wuhui then took out a jade slip and handed it to Jun Xiaoyao. Father, this is... Jun Xiaoyao looked at the jade slip. This is the one chi into three pure ones technique. Consider it a gift from me to you, Jun Wuhui said. Jun Xiaoyao was shocked. The one chi into three pure ones could split into three bodies. Most importantly, each of them possessed strength that was not inferior to the main body. How heaven-defying was this? It also meant that the one chi into three pure ones was definitely a supreme technique. Even in the Jun family, not many people could master it. Jun Wuhui handed it to him without hesitation. Thank you, father. Jun Xiaoyao accepted it. You and I are father and son. There's no need to thank me, Jun Wuhui said with a smile. By the way, father, part of the reason you came to the alien realm is for the fairy-slaying sword, right? Jun Xiaoyao summoned the fairy-slaying sword and handed it to Jun Wuhui. The fairy-slaying sword was the Jun family's immortal weapon. Even if it fell into Jun Xiaoyao's hands, with his current strength, he could not unleash the power of the fairy-slaying sword. It was better to give it to Jun Wuhui. Jun Wuhui did not refuse and accepted it. Indeed, I need the fairy-slaying sword for the time being. But don't worry, when you grow up in the future and can unleash the power of the immortal weapon, I will find the 4 fairy-slaying swords and give them to you, Jun Wuhui said. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. It was as he expected. The 4 fairy-slaying swords. The fairy-slaying sword was only one of them. The Jun family's foundation was really unfathomable. However, judging from Jun Wuhui's words, it seemed that the other 3 swords were not in the Jun family. All right, although the ultimate disaster has been eliminated, your identity has been exposed. You should return to the immortal realm as soon as possible, Jun Wuhui said. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly, then looked at the mother of the spider lilies on the other side. Thank you, Jun Xiaoyao said sincerely. You should thank that person. The mother of the spider lily's peerless face was very calm, and her tone was also as cold as usual. There was a hint of a queen's arrogance in her voice. Senior and I fought the disaster together. If you continue to stay in the alien realm in the future, you will probably be targeted, Jun Xiaoyao said. Hearing this, the mother of the spider lilies fell silent. Indeed, she had thought of this long ago. This was the price she had to pay to save Jun Xiaoyao. I wonder if Senior is willing to move the clan to the immortal realm. With the Jun family here, no one can target the Nirvana clan. Jun Xiaoyao sincerely invited. The mother of the spider lily's strength was unfathomable. If he could rope her in, she would definitely be a supreme fighting force. In addition, the Nirvana clan had very few people to begin with, so moving the clan was not difficult. Fellow cultivator, I will remember your help. If we go to the immortal realm, the Jun family will protect the safety of the Nirvana tribe, Jun Wuhui also said. All right, the mother of the spider lily sighed. Although the Nirvana clan was an immortal emperor clan in the alien realm, in fact, they did not have a deep connection with the alien realm. After the mother of the spider lilies agreed, Jun Xiaoyao was also relieved. If the Nirvana clan and the Emperor Royal Court formed an alliance, the Emperor Royal Court's strength would definitely skyrocket. It would not be comparable to the Jun family. At the very least, it would be far stronger than ordinary immortal forces. At this moment, an immortal aura swept over from the distance. It was the Shanao of Beach and the Nine-Tailed King. The immortal kings who were fighting with them had already run away when they saw the ultimate disaster fall. Sir and young master, you are truly admirable. The Shanao of Beach sighed with emotion. In his heart, only his benefactor, Jun Qitian, was a hero of the ages. Now, Jun Wuhui and Jun Xiaoyao's performance also made him look at them in a different light. He was full of admiration. On the other side, the Nine-Tailed King consort Dafei's delicate body was shrouded in brilliance. 9 soft snow-white fox tails swayed behind her back. She was infinitely beautiful, with peerless charm and charm. Jun Xiaoyao, your identity and strength are really beyond my expectations. Consort Dafei did not call Jun Xiaoyao little friend or little fellow. A person who could kill the ultimate disaster, even if it was through methods such as the godly Dharma body, was enough to make the immortal kings treat him as an equal. I hid my identity before. I hope Senior Consort Dafei does not take offense. This time, Thank you for being willing to keep your promise. Jun Xiaoyao also cupped his hands slightly at Consort Dafei. Consort Dafei, being able to keep her promise, was already beyond his expectations. I did not do it for you, but for a promise. I, Tushan, never go back on my words. Consort Dafei giggled. Senior, do you also plan to visit the deity region? Jun Xiaoyao began to invite her again. However, Consort Dafei shook her head slightly and said, My clan will not. Although I helped you once, it was only because of favor. After the ultimate disaster was destroyed, no monarch clan will attack Tushan. It is a thankless task. Consort Dafei rejected. But thinking about it, it made sense. Consort Dafei and the Red Spider Lily's mother were fundamentally different. The Red Spider Lily's mother was completely on Jun Xiaoyao's side. After that, she would naturally be targeted by the four monarch clans. Consort Dafei, on the other hand, was only fulfilling a promise. At least there was a suitable reason for her to take action. That's a pity. Jun Xiaoyao sighed slightly. Yeah, I don't know what to do with the 5 little fellows in my clan. After all, they have already consummated their marriage with you. Consort Dafei said with a half-smile. Cough. Jun Xiaoyao coughed dryly, a little embarrassed. He could only say sorry to the Tushan 5 beauties. Consort Dafei suddenly said seriously, Jun Xiaoyao, there's something I wonder if you can agree to. Senior, please speak, Jun Xiaoyao said. An undying king actually had a request for him. This left Jun Xiaoyao surprised. I'm saying if, in the future, you really can completely sweep through my world, I hope you can let Tushan go. Consort Dafei's tone was extremely serious. Jun Xiaoyao was simply the most monstrous existence she had ever seen. He was an anomaly that couldn't be described with words. If it was anyone else who could destroy the foreign realm, Consort Dafei would definitely scoff at them. But if it was Jun Xiaoyao, she felt that it might really be possible. When Jun Xiaoyao heard this, he instead shook his head and said with a smile, Senior is joking. Tushan and I can be considered to have some good karma, and the Tushan 5 beauties are all friends. In the future, Tushan will be fine no matter what. And then many thanks. Nine-tailed King Consort Dafei's peerlessly charming face revealed a city-toppling smile, faintly discernible in the radiance. She turned around and landed in front of Jun Xiaoyao. She actually reached out her jade-like hand and touched Jun Xiaoyao's face. Then, she turned around and broke through space to leave. She left behind a string of bell-like, charming laughter and words. What a pity. When I was born, you weren't. When you were born, I was already old. If it was thousands of years earlier, this king definitely wouldn't have let you go. Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. He suddenly felt a slight chill coming from the beautiful red spider lily's mother at the side. That coquettish fox's personality really hasn't changed. The red spider lily's mother's expression was ice-cold. Chapter 11:18. Jun Xiaoyao tactfully remained silent about the red spider lily mother's attitude. At this time, Su Hongyi also arrived, while Kagura nervously observed from behind. Hongyi, return to the celestial region with me, Jun Xiaoyao said. Yes, Gongzi. Su Hongyi nodded firmly. Wherever Jun Xiaoyao was, she would be there. As for War God Academy's Mystic Moon, Fei Qingxue, Tuo Biyu, and the others, Luo Xiangling must have already made arrangements. She was still very capable. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Kagura again. Kagura's heart tightened, and her expression was complicated with a hint of nervousness. She now understood that Jun Xiaoyao wasn't the true first king at all. But after being together for a long time, Kagura realized. Perhaps what she liked wasn't Jun Xiaoyao's identity as the first king. Rather, it was him. Leave, I won't kill you, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. Even the ultimate calamity had been destroyed. Kagura, a world destroyer king, obviously couldn't cause any trouble. Seeing that Kagura had helped him in the past and provided him with information, he decided not to kill Kagura. Kagura bit her red lips tightly. For some reason, at this moment, hearing Jun Xiaoyao's calm words, she felt like crying. Kagura left without looking back, not wanting Jun Xiaoyao to see her crying. You really like to hurt people, the red spider lily mother said calmly. Jun Xiaoyao sighed and said, I'm helping her. After all, she can't abandon her family. It's not good for her to be too involved with me. Then, the red spider lily mother also left. She was going to reorganize the Higgin family and move them. Now all that was left was to wrap things up. 6-world destroyer forbidden artifacts. Jun Xiaoyao still gave the Mahakala mirror to Su Hongyi. When Kagura left, she didn't even take Heaven's Wail with her. Obviously, after the ultimate calamity was destroyed, the so-called 6-world destroyer king's destiny no longer existed. Kagura naturally didn't need to bear the title of world destroyer anymore. Jun Xiaoyao thought for a moment, then threw the 5 Armageddon forbidden weapons into the myriad chi cauldron to refine. Although the God's Weeping War halberd was easy to use, it still needed to absorb the power of his bloodline. Furthermore, with the myriad chi cauldron and the Daluo sword embryo, Jun Xiaoyao did not need any other weapons. As the 5 apocalyptic forbidden artifacts were thrown into the cauldron, the myriad chi cauldron, which was as heavy as a mountain, began to be refined. These 2 weapons could grow alongside Jun Xiaoyao. All right, Xiaoyao, there's no time to lose. I'll send you out of the other side. Jun Wuhui raised his palm and tore through the void, creating a spatial tunnel. What about you, father? Jun Xiaoyao looked at Jun Wuhui. He said that he would send Jun Xiaoyao back to the immortal domain. Clearly, he wouldn't be returning to the immortal domain himself. I still have things to deal with. I need to take that step. In addition, although the calamity is over, the great calamity is not over. This is not the end, but the beginning. It's very likely that greater turmoil is still to come. I need to become stronger so that I can protect all of you, the Jun family, and all living beings in the immortal domain. Jun Wuhui's eyes were resolute, and he didn't move or waver. A gentleman has no regrets in his life. This was his motto, and also his firm belief. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was grave when he heard this. He inexplicably thought of the fragment of the future that he saw when he condensed the 3 lives primordial spirit. The world was in chaos. The heavens were in great calamity. The universe was filled with the corpses of quasi-emperors, and all living beings gathered in the river of blood. Jiang Xingyi stared at him with a sad and beautiful expression and dug out his own heart with his own hands. Could it be that it wasn't an inner demon, but a sign of a true great calamity? And from the meaning of his father's words, it seemed that he was going to prove his Tao. It was hard to imagine how strong Jun Wuhui, who was already ridiculously strong, would be if he proved his Tao. Father, with your talent, you should have been able to prove your Tao long ago, right? Jun Xiaoyao raised his doubts. There was no doubt that Jun Wuhui's talent was monstrous, but he hadn't proved his Tao yet. Jun Wuhui smiled and said, proving my Tao is indeed not difficult for me, but being a great emperor is not my end, but my starting point. It's fine if I don't prove my Tao. If I do, I will surpass the past and present. At least, I can't be weaker than my ancestors. When Jun Wuhui mentioned this, his eyes revealed some pride and sharpness of a divine king. He had also said something before. There was no need to look for his ancestors. He would surpass them. That's my goal too. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Good. I'll wait for the time when you surpass me in the future. Jun Wuhui's eyes were filled with gratification. After exchanging pleasantries, the little green bird, which was Fufeng of Gojoseon, expanded in the wind and turned into a great azure sky rock. Its wings were like clouds in the sky. When it flapped its wings, the space was torn apart and shook violently. Although Fufeng of Gojoseon admitted defeat in front of the Jun father and son, he was still a great azure sky rock. However, he was a pseudo-immortal after all. His aura and strength were still powerful. Jun Xiaoyao brought Su Hongyi and stepped on the head of the great azure sky rock. As for those trusted aides who were still in Ares Academy, such as Xinyu, Fei, Qingxue, Tuobiyu, and the others, Jun Xiaoyao believed that Luo Xiangling would definitely make the appropriate arrangements and send them to the celestial realm. Young master, let this old man escort you back to the celestial realm. Shanao of Beach took the initiative to say. The ultimate calamity had been destroyed, and his identity had been exposed. There was naturally no point in staying in the foreign realm. Shanao of Beach also admired Jun Xiaoyao, who was able to destroy the calamity. He even thought that Jun Xiaoyao would definitely have the ability to grow to the same level as his benefactor, Qi Tiandi. Thank you for your trouble, Senior Shanao of Beach. Jun Xiaoyao was humble and appropriate. Shanao of Beach nodded with a smile. In front of the space crack, Jun Xiaoyao glanced at the broken land one last time. The trip to the foreign realm had finally come to an end. He then looked at the white-clothed figure that was as handsome as jade. After making great contributions, Jun Wuhui did not choose to return to the celestial realm to be worshipped and admired by tens of thousands of people and enjoy glory. Instead, he continued to move forward alone to prove his Tao and prepare for the next great tribulation, hiding his achievements and fame. This was a true hero. The Divine King had no regrets. Go. Jun Wuhui's eyes were filled with love. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. The only thing he could do now was to make himself as strong as possible so that he could help Jun Wuhui share the pressure in the future. However, his main goal was not for the people of the celestial realm, but for his family, lovers, and family. Jun Xiaoyao, Su Hongyi, Shanao of Beach, and the others left. He looked at the slowly closing space crack. Jun Wuhui muttered to himself, "It's easy to become an immortal, but difficult to be free and unfettered. Xiaoyao, I hope that in the future, you will be able to reach the peak and be free and unfettered in this world. The only thing Father can do is to support the sky for you to grow. Before that, no great calamity can end this golden era." Jun Wuhui's eyes instantly became sharp, and his aura shook the world. He stroked the blade of the immortal slaying sword with one hand, and the aura of the immortal Tao flowed. Jun Wuhui was going to take that step and reach the peak of the Emperor realm. With his own shoulders and backbone, he would support Jun Xiaoyao in a peaceful world. Chapter 1119. The trip to the foreign realm had come to an end. Jun Xiaoyao had successfully completed his mission on this trip. He had met his father, obtained the Book of Souls, and learned the truth about the ghost-masked woman. He had even eliminated the greatest threat, the ultimate calamity. Unknowingly, Jun Xiaoyao had become a hero of the immortal realm, even though it was not his intention. I can finally return to the immortal realm. How are the people in the past? Jun Xiaoyao wore a faint smile as he recalled some people. They must be very sad when they learned that he had fallen. Now, he could finally go back and catch up with them. Following this, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered with mischief. There's another group of people too. Your nightmare has returned. Ever since Jun Xiaoyao fell in the world of the ruins of God, in the immortal realm, the geniuses who were his enemies were living a comfortable life. Many of the seeds that had been buried deep in the ground were relieved too. The reason being that Jun Xiaoyao had dominated all the events that took place in the immortal realm. It was as if the whole world was his stage. Since his fall, the immortal realm had produced many geniuses. The seeds had broken through the soil, and the flowers had blossomed. The descendants of the ancient emperors, the successors of the ancient clans, the powerful chaos flesh sealed in the door of chaos, the sacred Gulen sect, the children of truth with billions of believers. There was also the mysterious young emperor of the Xian Ting, and so on. The geniuses with peerless geniuses with forbidden seeds began to show their potential. They were planning to control the world. However, when everyone was about to take the stage to compete for supremacy, they realized that the main character who had fallen from grace had returned. On top of that, he had returned in a more glorious and shocking manner. Some of the geniuses might have a mental breakdown, causing their Tao heart to become unstable. In the immortal realm, many people admired Jun Xiaoyao. However, there were still quite a few who wanted him to disappear from the face of the earth. Now that Jun Xiaoyao had returned, he would no doubt stir up a great disaster in the nine heavens immortal realm. In the sky of the desolated realm, the light barrier had already dissipated when the calamity fell. On the other side, all of the creatures felt like they were suffocating. Even those undying kings who could deduce karma and fate might not be able to think of this. This was how things would end. It was enough to make all living things fear and bring about the ultimate calamity to the aristocratic families. In the end, he actually died in the hands of a young paragon of the immortal realm. No one would have thought that he would die in such a way. Taking a step back, even if he died in the hands of Junwoo Wei and the others, it was still acceptable. But to die in the hands of a junior, what did that count as? The expressions of some of the ultimate Emperor clan's kings turned extremely ugly. Although now, in terms of overall strength, the other side still had a great advantage. However, the most powerful existence, the ultimate calamity, had fallen. For the other side, this was too great of a blow. It was unknown how long they would have to wait before they could completely invade and destroy the celestial realm. Perhaps they would have to wait until the unprecedented Black Calamity struck. However, no one could say for sure when the Great Calamity would descend again. This time, even the other side's kings had thoughts of withdrawing. There was no point in continuing the fight. Right now, the only thing the other side could do was continue waiting for the Great Calamity to descend. Wait for the other apocalypses to descend. Meanwhile, on a mortal realm side, it was the exact opposite. Their morale surging. They were precisely launching a counterattack. Kill. The other side is already an arrow at the end of its flight. Correct. After losing their greatest trump card, the other side is nothing more than a toothless tiger, completely lacking in intimidation. Many immortal realm cultivators previously held a breath of resentment. Now they vented it all out. Of course, immortal realm's top experts were still extremely calm. Right now, it could only be said that the greatest hidden danger had already been removed. However, the threat of the other side as a whole was still extremely great. The ultimate calamity's destruction merely delayed the final two realms' great decisive battle. When those ultimate Emperor clan's calamity level undying revived. At that time, the calamity wouldn't be any smaller than now. In desolate border, on the battlefield of the two realms' heavenly prides. Immortal realms' heavenly prides were all incomparably excited. This great world wasn't extinguished. They still had a chance to continue growing. Kill those bastards from the other side. Victory has already been decided. These immortal realm heavenly pride's expressions were stirred up, high-spirited. Of course, there were also those with depressed expressions. For example, Gu Tizi's expression was extremely ugly. There was also Long Yao her small face also bitter. Previously in desolate border, she was ravaged by the other realm chaotic body, even beaten back to her little girl form. It was only now that she realized that the detestable guy was actually Jun Xiaoyao. There were those who didn't want to see Jun Xiaoyao return to the immortal realm. Naturally, there were also those who wished for Jun Xiaoyao to return to the immortal realm. Jiang Luoli was also on the battlefield. She was extremely excited, crying tears of joy. After obtaining the damaged elemental spirit world, her current strength couldn't be underestimated. Among the 9 heavens immortal realms' heavenly prides, she was also ranked at the forefront. At this moment, Jiang Luoli was also fighting. She wanted to let Jun Xiaoyao know. She was no longer the little girl who needed to be relied on. Even though her height didn't change at all. This already makes you all so happy? The outcome of the battle between the two realms hasn't been decided yet. A monarch prince of an immortal emperor race from another realm said coldly, "Victory and defeat are common in war. Besides, our realm hasn't lost. We've only temporarily lost some advantage." A sky pride whose entire body was shrouded in black mist said coldly. His aura was extremely powerful, and his demonic might was surging. He was a young peak 9 heaven supreme. It's the darkness seed of the Moshi clan. On the immortal realm's side, the heavenly prides had serious expressions. The so-called darkness seed was a seed-level genius of the ultimate monarch race. His strength was even stronger than some of the seed-level geniuses on the immortal realm side. Previously, this darkness seed of the Moshi clan had already killed several seed-level geniuses of the immortal realm. From the looks of it, you must have a deep relationship with that Jun Xiaoyao. If that's the case, then die. The darkness seed of the Moshi clan said coldly. This was because he had seen on the light screen that Jun Xiaoyao had casually killed Moshi Luo of the Moshi clan. It could be said that almost all the creatures of the other realm hated Jun Xiaoyao bitterly. The darkness seed of the Moshi clan took action. His peak 9 Heaven Supreme cultivation erupted, and a large hand of darkness pressed down on Jiang Luoli. Jiang Luoli's snow-white face didn't have the slightest trace of fear. Her large black eyes were calm and collected. She also urged her own strength, and the majestic power of her world erupted. It could be said that within the 9 Heaven Supreme realm, there were almost no geniuses who could cultivate their own world. Jun Xiaoyao was originally an anomaly. He couldn't be viewed with common sense. As for Jiang Luoli, she had obtained a broken primordial spirit world from the gate of life and death on the buried Emperor's star. It allowed her to have her own world. The power of the collision shook the void. At this time, 2 more darkness seeds rushed over. Now, anyone who had anything to do with Jun Xiaoyao would be seen as a thorn in their side. At least, before the other realm retreated, they wanted to kill as many as they could. Facing this situation, Jiang Luoli didn't have the slightest fear. Not far away, the Jun family's geniuses saw this and wanted to help, but they were stopped, just as the 3 darkness seeds of the other realm were about to join forces to kill Jiang Luoli. A huge crack suddenly appeared in the void. Then, it was accompanied by a loud and clear cry. A huge azure sky rock appeared. As it spread its wings, it covered the battlefield of geniuses in the desolate border. An incomparably majestic aura pressed down. It's a pseudo-immortal level foreign cultivator. Some immortal realm geniuses shouted, trembling in fear. Why would a pseudo-immortal level foreign cultivator suddenly descend on this battlefield? Wait, look, there seems to be someone standing on the rock's head. Some geniuses couldn't help but exclaim. With a pseudo-immortal level cultivator as a mount, who could have such a shocking display? The geniuses of the 2 realms looked over and instantly held their breaths. An otherworldly figure dressed in white stood on the head of the azure sky rock. It was as if a king had returned, ruling over the 9 heavens' immortal realm. Chapter 1120. His clothes were whiter than snow, his sleeves fluttering in the wind. His aura shook the world as he laughed proudly in the skies. Beneath his feet was a quasi-immortal level azure rock. As soon as he appeared, his aura swept through the entire battlefield. No one dared not raise their eyebrows. No one wasn't shocked. When Jiang Luoli saw that figure she hadn't seen in a long time, her vision instantly blurred. She didn't want to cry, but she couldn't stop her tears. This was joy, excitement, and even more so, a burst of longing brewed from a long time ago. Big Brother Xiaoyao. With a sobbing tone, a sweet voice that evoked pity came from Jiang Luoli's small mouth. There was no need to say who came. He came. At this moment, the countless immortal domain heaven's prides on the battlefield all had different feelings. They were paying homage to a legend that had fallen. A king had returned. Jun Xiaoyao. When he saw Jun Xiaoyao appear, the Demon Dawn clan's darkness seeds' eyes were first filled with astonishment. Then, he erupted with a monstrous rage. Jun Xiaoyao had played the entire Demon Dawn clan like fools. He had even directly killed one of the 6 world destruction kings, Maluo. This caused the Demon Dawn clan's darkness seeds' eyes to fill with cold, killing intent. They all knew this. The reason Jun Xiaoyao was able to kill the Calamity was mainly because of that golden avatar, as well as the 3 world coffin and other external forces. Everyone also saw that after that avatar's power of faith was exhausted, it couldn't be used. Thus, the Demon Dawn clan's darkness seed didn't fear Jun Xiaoyao too much. He could feel that Jun Xiaoyao was also at the peak of the supreme realm like him. He hadn't broken through to the Empyrean realm yet. Dying. Without any hesitation, the Demon Dawn clan's darkness seed attacked. Boundless demonic energy gathered into a black spear. It seemed as if it could pierce through the heavens as it shot towards Jun Xiaoyao. Now, if anyone could kill Jun Xiaoyao, that would absolutely become the supreme glory of the foreign domain. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. After experiencing the ultimate calamity battle, now, in his eyes, the battles of the younger generation were simply children playing house. There wasn't the slightest ripple in his heart. Rumble. Jun Xiaoyao simply pressed down with his palm. Primal chaos, qi, surged between his fingers and palms. Every strand could crush the heavens. Sensing this terrifying strength, the Demon Dawn clan's darkness seed's complexion changed. He was right. He and Jun Xiaoyao were indeed at the utmost exalted stage. However, there were also differences in the supreme realm. An ordinary supreme being and an ultimate supreme being who controlled 9 laws were clearly incomparable. What about Jun Xiaoyao? He was a supreme divergent who had grasped 10 laws of nature and surpassed the limits of the extreme realm. Not to mention that this was not Jun Xiaoyao's limit. The Demon Dawn clan's darkness seed was also very strong. It had cultivated a total of 6 laws. However, in front of Jun Xiaoyao, the supreme anomaly, they were still as weak as ants. The Chaos Palm came crashing down like an ancient demonic mountain. It crushed down on the Demon Dawn clan's darkness seed, destroying it in body and soul. Seeing this scene, the other 2 darkness seeds were horrified and hurriedly wanted to escape. Jun Xiaoyao also raised his hand and slapped down. 1 palm, 1 child. In just a moment, the 3 foreign darkness seeds that were slaughtering in all directions on the battlefield of geniuses were all annihilated. Gulp, some immortal domain geniuses swallowed hard. This was not Jun Xiaoyao borrowing the power of his god spirit Dharma body. It was his own strength, killing ordinary supreme beings like ants. Countless gazes looked at the figure standing on the azure sky rock, as if they were looking at a miracle. Lord Xiaoyao has returned. The Son of God is unparalleled. The king of my immortal domain's younger generation has finally returned, to be able to win against the heavens. Who else can do this? Many immortal domain geniuses roared, incomparably excited. Although Jun Xiaoyao had many opponents in the immortal domain, there were even more people who worshipped him. Especially after Jun Xiaoyao killed the ultimate calamity, this worship was close to brainless and crazy, playing against the heavens, suppressing the evil thoughts of the gods, saving the border, suppressing the ultimate calamity. Any one of these things would be enough for all living beings to prostrate themselves in worship and reverence. And all of this was done by Jun Xiaoyao alone. If he wasn't put on the altar, who should be? Big Brother Xiaoyao. A beautiful figure rushed towards Jun Xiaoyao like a swallow returning to its nest, throwing herself into his arms. It was Jiang Luoli. After not seeing her for a long time, Jiang Luoli didn't change much except for her height. She was still short. However, her temperament had changed a little. If Jiang Luoli in the past was as cunning as a fairy, lively and beautiful, then the current her was a little more mature and quiet. Her appearance was beautiful and exquisite, and her pretty face was fair and lustrous. Obviously, this was inseparable from her years of experience. Even if she was the beloved daughter of the Jiang family, after leaving the greenhouse, she should have grown up, especially after hearing that Jun Xiaoyao had died. Jiang Luoli seemed to have grown up overnight and understood the taste of loss. Now, seeing the familiar person of her dreams, she couldn't help but throw herself into Jun Xiaoyao's arms, not caring whether they were on the battlefield or not. The feeling of regaining what she had lost was too precious. He looked at Jiang Luoli, who was curled up in his arms. She clearly wanted to cry, but she was holding back her tears. Her shoulders were trembling slightly. Jun Xiaoyao also sighed slightly. All these years, he had been cultivating wholeheartedly, becoming stronger, and exploring the truth of the world. He had indeed neglected a lot. He had neglected the people around him. It wasn't just Jiang Luoli. There was also Jiang Xingyi, the woman who had been silently contributing behind his back, but had never asked for anything from him. He thought of the fragment of the future again. The world was in chaos, and Jiang Xingyi looked at him with a blood-stained smile. Jun Xiaoyao felt that it was time to give her a solemn promise. He was afraid that if he missed it, he might not have another chance in the future. Jun Xiaoyao kept this matter in his heart. He reached out and lifted Jiang Luoli's pretty face. Perhaps it was a longing that couldn't be obtained. It made Jiang Luoli's delicate eyebrows look a little haggard. Brother Xiaoyao, I knew it. How could you leave us without saying a word? You're not that kind of person. Jiang Luoli's voice was a little sobbing, but there was a teary smile on her face. This kind of feeling was extremely complicated. There was joy, excitement, lingering fear, and a little grievance. I'm sorry to have worried you. Jun Xiaoyao didn't know what to say. Brother Xiaoyao, it's good that you're back. Jiang Luoli's eyes were red, and there was a trace of tears in her smile. You've really grown up. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. Brother Xiaoyao, have you finally noticed that I've grown taller? It's not the height. Jun Xiaoyao's gaze fell on Jiang Luoli's chest. Although Jiang Luoli's height hadn't changed, some parts of her body had developed very well. It had become a great humiliation to a child's face. Brother Xiaoyao, you. Jiang Luoli blushed and punched Jun Xiaoyao's chest with her small fists. She didn't expect that Jun Xiaoyao would tease her like this after they were almost separated by life and death. It's good that you're smiling. This is the lowly Jiang I remember. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Jiang Luoli was stunned, and then her little nose twitched. Finally, she couldn't help but burst into tears. She hugged Jun Xiaoyao with her jade-like arms and buried her little face in Jun Xiaoyao's arms. It was still that familiar gentleness. It hadn't changed. Jun Xiaoyao patted Jiang Luoli's back. However, he sensed an extremely complicated gaze with a hint of envy secretly looking at him. Princess Ling Yan. Chapter 1121. Jiang Luoli could publicly throw herself into Jun Xiaoyao's embrace and pour out her heart. But Ling Yan couldn't. She was the Empress of Empress Hua's immortal lineage, the young Empress of Xianting. And this time, the Jun family was flourishing in dealing with the other side. They had the feeling that they were splitting half of the immortal realm with Xianting. Therefore, from her standpoint, Ling Yan couldn't give Jun Xiaoyao any indication, not to mention hugging him like Jiang Luoli. It was impossible for her to even say you're back in public. But Ling Yan wasn't just Ling Yan. She had also fused with Fairy Yuan's soul. Therefore, Ling Yan's gaze was extremely complicated. She looked at Jiang Luoli with envy. As if sensing Jun Xiaoyao's gaze, Ling Yan hurriedly looked away. Jun Xiaoyao didn't say anything. Even if it was for Fairy Yuan's sake, he couldn't do anything to Ling Yan. However, he did have to look for Ling Yan later, because he had to obtain the immortal tribulation sword art, one of the 5 great divine arts, from her. This way, Jun Xiaoyao would be able to gather the 5 great Sword Dao divine arts. He might be able to completely comprehend the Sword Dao and the laws of the sword. Jun Xiaoyao. On the other side, there were many princes and princesses of the Emperor race, as well as the dark seeds of the ultimate Emperor race. They looked at Jun Xiaoyao with resentment and a hint of fear. This was a terrifying guy who had deceived all the creatures of the other side and even killed the ultimate calamity. Are you still going to resist stubbornly? Jun Xiaoyao's gaze swept across the group of foreign geniuses with a cold expression. Although he had stayed in the other side for a long time and had friendly relations with some foreign geniuses, such as the 2 Shan 5 beauties. But this didn't mean that Jun Xiaoyao's opinion of the other side had changed. Invaders would always be invaders. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to make a move, suddenly the sky darkened. A giant hand of laws, exuding majestic immortal power, pressed down on the battlefield. He actually wanted to slap Jun Xiaoyao to death. It was clear that Jun Xiaoyao's appearance stirred up the foreign, undying king's killing intent. Ha! Jun Xiaoyao looked indifferent and did not move. In the next moment, an aged voice rang out. I would like to see who dares to make a move. An old man with a turtle shell quietly appeared in the void. He was the Shanao of Beach. Boom! Immortal fluctuations burst out, shaking heaven and earth. The prodigies from the 2 realms were speechless when they saw this. With a pseudo-immortal as his mount and a true immortal king as his protector. What kind of treatment was this? One word: grandeur. There were also other undying kings, and even the ultimate Emperor clan's king. They all knew that Jun Xiaoyao had returned from the other realm. They wanted to vent their anger and kill Jun Xiaoyao. In the end, they were still stopped by Divine Universe Emperor and the others. Your momentum has already been lost. What is the point of continuing the war? Divine Universe Emperor said coldly. If the ultimate disaster was still there, then the other realm would indeed have the absolute advantage. But now, the disaster was already eliminated. Even if the other realm wanted to invade the Nine Heavens immortal domain with full force, they would still lose. Even if they killed 1,000 enemies, they would still suffer 800 casualties. Not to mention how many trump cards the immortal domain still had. Even the foreign realm's true calamity great immortals were still asleep, not waking up. That was why now was not the time for the final great battle between the two realms. Jun family, don't be happy too early. The curse of disaster will continue to corrode your bloodline as time goes on. I hope you can hold on until the true final battle between the two realms arrives. The ultimate Emperor Clan's king's tone was cold and fierce. Heh, is this considered incompetent rage? Divine Universe Emperor also sneered. The curse of disaster might have some effect on the Jun family. But as time went on, they naturally had a way to get rid of this curse. After all, the Jun family's bloodline was not ordinary. We will retreat. The foreign realms' kings all retreated. There was no way this type of great battle would end. As for killing Jun Xiaoyao, even though they really wanted to, Immortal Domain side clearly wouldn't allow them to do so. On Desolate Border side, as the foreign realms' kings retreated, the various clans' heavenly geniuses, including the foreign army, also began to withdraw. With this retreat, at least for a short period of time, the foreign realm wouldn't be able to launch a large-scale attack. They might return to their previous state of fighting on a small scale. Time stood on Immortal Domain side. Many people believed that as long as they waited for Jun Xiaoyao to completely grow up, he would become Immortal Domain's sea-stabilizing divine needle. The foreign realm's great army withdrew like a tide. Compared to their surging battle intent when they came, when they left, their figures seemed a bit more miserable. We won. Immortal Domain was defended. Long live the Jun family. Long live the Divine King. Long live Xiaoyao, son of God. Countless Immortal Domain cultivators cheered, chanting the names of the Jun family and Jun Wuhui's father and son. After all, everyone could see that the ones who stopped the foreign realm's disaster were mainly the Jun family and Jun Wuhui's father and son. It wasn't that the other powers didn't contribute, but compared to the Jun family, they seemed dim and lackluster. Xian Ting's great emperor frowned slightly. Although he had a trace of admiration for Jun Wuhui, he still had a trace of admiration for him. However, from the perspective of their faction, this type of situation wasn't what Xian Ting wanted to see. On the desolate border battlefield, all of Immortal Domain's heavenly geniuses let out a sigh of relief. Big Brother Xiaoyao, you are a great hero. Jiang Luoli looked at Jun Xiaoyao affectionately. The one she loved was a matchless hero. Jun Xiaoyao declined to comment. All he did was complete his plan. Saving the people of the world wasn't Jun Xiaoyao's goal. Of course, if he could use this to gather the power of faith, then Jun Xiaoyao would be happy to do so. Then, regardless of whether it was the people of the Desolate Border or the Border Pass, they all returned to the original Imperial City. For a short period of time, Immortal Domain should remain calm. There was no need to worry about any great calamity. All of Immortal Domain's creatures let out a sigh of relief, incomparably happy. Meanwhile, everyone, even the cultivators who didn't go to the battlefield, gathered towards the original Imperial City. It was because they wanted to see the great heroes who protected Immortal Domain this time. Jun Wuhui and Jun Xiaoyao. The original Imperial City, supported by the Black Tortoise Corpse, towered in the universe. The city walls were majestic, as tall as heavenly towers, stretching for countless li, with no end in sight. Imperial City, which was the size of a continent, was currently filled with people rubbing shoulders. Countless cultivators surged towards the original Imperial City. Meanwhile, at this time, The teleportation formation inside the original Imperial City lit up, a large number of Immortal Domain troops returning. There were also experts from various clans, young heavenly geniuses, and others. Everyone was looking forward to it. Everyone from the June family was also waiting here. Soon, in the void, a brilliance appeared. A blue sky rock spread its wings, emitting the aura of a quasi-immortal, which was the aura of a quasi-emperor. That's a quasi-emperor level creature. It's the June family son of God who has returned. He has returned to Immortal Domain. When they saw the white-robed figure standing on the head of the blue sky rock, the entire original Imperial City was in an uproar. At this moment, the sky suddenly rumbled. Divine thunder exploded, millions of lightning bolts, as if the heavens were furious. What's going on? Countless Immortal Domain cultivators were incomparably stunned. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a faint sneer as he raised his head to look at the sky. Previously, he was in the desolate border, not belonging to Immortal Domain. Now, he had returned to the original Imperial City, which was also the land of Immortal Domain. The will of Immortal Domain had personally appointed the 7 emperors to kill Jun Xiaoyao, this anomaly. In the end, they were played by Jun Xiaoyao, and even the heavenly Dao crown was given for nothing. Do the heavens not want face? At this moment, when Jun Xiaoyao returned to Immortal Domain, the heavens were furious, and the lightning tribulation surged. Jun Xiaoyao looked up at the sky, his white robe fluttering, his black hair dancing in the wind. Heavens, you're just a defeated opponent. Over and over again, I, Jun Xiaoyao, don't mind defeating you again. Chapter 1122. Jun Xiaoyao's indifferent voice spread throughout the original Imperial City. Ever since he stepped onto the ultimate ancient road, the 7 rebellious sovereigns had descended from the heavens. It was a game between Jun Xiaoyao and the heavens of the immortal realm. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao set up a trap and completely deceived the heavens. It was only then that everyone realized. They realized that Jun Bieli's attack on Jun Xiaoyao was part of the plan. The heavens had appointed Jun Bieli as one of the 7 sovereigns because they wanted to see the Jun family kill each other. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao beat them at their own game and played the will of the immortal realm. Only Jun Xiaoyao can beat the heavens. Countless exclamations sounded in the original Imperial City. Young Master, you've really exceeded our expectations. The 4th Master Scar and the others arrived and were overjoyed. At the same time, he looked at the void behind him and probed. Young Master, may I ask if our benefactor, Father? He still has his own things to do and hasn't returned yet, Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. Hearing this, the 4th Master Scar and all the gatekeepers' bloodlines, as well as countless cultivators in the original Imperial City, fell silent. Then, their eyes were filled with unprecedented admiration. He left after the deed was done, hiding his achievements and fame. Jun Wuhui deserved everyone's respect. Haha, Xiaoyao, this plan of yours really gave us a fright. The Jun family's great ancestors appeared, as well as many elders and clansmen. These were the great ancestors who usually stayed in the ancestral temple and held high positions. At this moment, when they saw Jun Xiaoyao, they were extremely amiable and smiling. Xiaoyao greets the ancestors. I'm sorry for making you all worry. Jun Xiaoyao came down from the azure sky rock and cupped his hands at the great ancestors. Xiaoyao, the scene when you were just born still appears in my mind. I didn't expect you to be no weaker than us old guys now. Even the ultimate disaster was eliminated. The 18th ancestor was also there. When he saw Jun Xiaoyao, he was extremely emotional. Jun Xiaoyao was only a few years old, yet he had already caught up to them. Moreover, he had such achievements. It could be said that he was unparalleled in both ancient and modern times. Grandpa Qijing, you must be joking. Without the protection of you and your family, how could Xiaoyao grow up safely? Jun Xiaoyao also revealed a gentle smile. It was the 18th ancestor who personally taught and guided him in the beginning of his path of cultivation. Jun Xiaoyao was deeply moved. Ha ha ha. When you return, War Sky will probably be overjoyed, 16th ancestor said with a chuckle. The Jun family had sent some powerful cultivators to lead the war of the two realms. As for Jun Zhangqian and the others, they did not come. However, if they knew that Jun Xiaoyao had returned, they would definitely be overjoyed. Xiaoyao, you really didn't let us down. Another voice came from the void. They were Jun Taixian, Jun Tea, and the other ancient ancestors. Xiaoyao greets the ancient ancestors. Jun Xiaoyao cupped his hand slightly. He knew that although these ancient ancestors were rarely seen, they were still able to see each other. However, at critical moments, they were the stabilizing force of the Jun family. During the immortal battle, Jun Taixian destroyed Zulong with a single sword strike. During the battle with the Tyrant Body, there were powerful cultivators from the Tyrant Body Ancestral Hall who wanted to intervene. It was also Jun Tea who secretly helped. Therefore, he was still very respectful to these ancient ancestors. Is this the son of God of the main lineage? He is indeed quite impressive. A gray-haired old woman took a good look at Jun Xiaoyao. She was the quasi-emperor ancient ancestor of the hidden lineage, Jun Suhua. At this time, Jun Bieli and the other geniuses of the hidden lineage were also present. Now, everyone knew that this was actually a show co-directed by Jun Bieli and Jun Xiaoyao. The funny thing was that during this period of time, Jun Bieli was also criticized and scolded by many people and bore a lot of pressure. It was Xiaoyao who made the hidden lineage completely return to the main lineage. After that, there was no distinction. Jun Taixian smiled slightly. He didn't want there to be a gap between the younger generation of the Jun family. Of course, Jun Suehua also nodded. All right, let's leave some time for these young people. Jun Tea smiled and shook his head. Then, the ancient ancestors and old ancestors of the Jun family left. Although the battle had ended, they still had important matters to attend to. For example, the curse of calamity couldn't destroy the Jun family. However, if they didn't deal with it properly, there would still be some trouble and it would drag the Jun family down. As the powerful cultivators of the Jun family left, the geniuses and young clansmen of the Jun family were completely relaxed and then cheered. Son of God is awesome. He is the role model of our generation. If a person can have 1,000th of the glory of the Son of God in their lifetime, they would have no regrets in their life. What kind of monsters are they? They only dare to be arrogant when the Son of God is temporarily secluded. Let's see how many people in the immortal realm dare to be arrogant now. The young people of the Jun family were very excited and proud. You've really fooled all of us. Jun Lingsong and Lord Grimm walked over. Once, the three big shots of the Jun family were famous on the ancient road. Now, they were reunited again. I'm sorry to have made you worry. Looking at the sincere smiles of the two, Jun Xiaoyao also smiled slightly. We said that we would grow and improve together. In the end, you killed the ultimate calamity alone. Even Jun Lingsong, who is usually serious, teased at this moment. You just relied on external objects. In terms of strength, you are not inferior at all. After not seeing each other for a long time, Jun Lingsong and Lord Grimm's cultivation did not lag behind. They were both in the supreme stage. However, one of them had polychoria, and the other had the emperor physique. It was normal for them to have such strength. In addition to them, Jun Milan, Jun Zhangjian, Jun Xuehuang, and the other sequences of the Jun family were also there. However, compared to Jun Lingsong and Lord Grimm, they were a little reserved. After all, the gap between Jun Xiaoyao and them was too big now. They didn't feel like they were of the same generation. It was more like they were facing an extraordinarily powerful elder. What's wrong, Milan? You weren't like this when you faced me in the past. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Jun Milan. Her red hair was tied into a ponytail. Her face was valiant, and her figure was hot and curvy. She was famous for being a tomboy in the Jun family. In the past, even in front of Jun Xiaoyao, she referred to herself as an elder sister. However, she didn't dare to do that now. She smiled bitterly and said, Lord Son of God, you must be joking. You don't have to be like this. I'm still me. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. However, he also understood that in many cases, strength did indeed widen the gap between people. At this moment, a group of people walked over. When they saw them, Jun Ling Tsung and the others, as well as the sequences of the Jun family's main bloodline, restrained their smiles. The people who came were Jun Bieli and the other geniuses of the hidden bloodlines. Beside Jun Bieli stood a pure and beautiful woman dressed in green. In addition, Jun Yin Wang, Jun Qingyin, Jun Lanxi, and the other geniuses of the hidden bloodlines followed closely behind. When Jun Bieli saw Jun Xiaoyao, he immediately bowed 90 degrees and saluted him. The woman in green, Li Qing, did the same. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. To put it bluntly, this was part of the deal and the plan. Therefore, he didn't have any hostility toward Jun Bieli. However, when he looked at Li Qing, there was a trace of surprise in his eyes. Could it be? He felt the aura of the great path of the heavens surging from Li Qing. Jun Xiaoyao immediately understood the cause and effect. I will never forget Brother Xiaoyao's kindness. I am willing to do anything to repay you, Li Qing said sincerely. Chapter 11:23. I see. I get it now. Jun Xiaoyao took one look at Li Qing, and immediately understood what had happened. It turned out that Jun Bieli didn't want the heavenly crown for himself. It was for his lover. Jun Xiaoyao understood the situation as well. From another perspective, if Jiang Xingyi was in danger and needed the heavenly crown to save him, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't hesitate. If that were the case, Jun Xiaoyao would not hesitate to do whatever he could to get his hands on it, no matter the cost. I, Jun Bieli, am willing to follow the lead of the Son of God. Jun Bieli was very sincere. Being able to save Li Qing made up for the biggest regret of his life. And it was all because of Jun Xiaoyao that he could do this. You don't have to do this. You are the son of the Jun family. Just work hard for the Jun family in the future. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and helped Jun Bieli up. Jun Bieli was grateful, but at the same time, he was surprised. When they were in the world of God, Jun Xiaoyao was strong, but not unfathomable. At that time, Jun Bieli was confident that he could fight with Jun Xiaoyao. But now, facing Jun Xiaoyao, even someone as strong as Jun Bieli couldn't figure him out. Obviously, Jun Xiaoyao's strength had grown a lot during the time they were in the foreign realm. Even Jun Bieli couldn't figure him out. At this time, Jun Yinhuang, who had been silent, suddenly knelt down on one knee in front of Jun Xiaoyao. I'm sorry, Son of God. It was my fault for being hostile to the Son of God. Please punish me, Son of God. Jun Yinhuang lowered his head and knelt down in front of everyone. Jun Qingyin, who was watching from the side, sighed as well. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have done it in the first place. Get up. I don't care. The Jun family doesn't have a main or hidden branch now. Jun Xiaoyao was not the kind of person to be petty. The main thing was that Jun Yinhuang didn't cause him any losses. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao did not mind being magnanimous for once. Thank you, Son of God, for your magnanimity. Jun Yin felt even more ashamed. At this point, the matter between the main branch and the hidden branch of the Jun family had been completely resolved, and everything was harmonious. In the future, the Jun family would only unite against outsiders. With the help of the hidden lineage, the Jun family and the Xianting naturally had a greater chance of competing for power in the immortal region. Young Master, Yu, Yin Qingying, River of Forgetfulness, Goddess Eternal Calamity, and the other followers had also arrived. There was also Princess Longji, Yin Rumeng, Yu Chanwan, Tying Jadehair, Xiao Maxian, and the others. All of them looked at Jun Xiaoyao with excitement written all over their faces. This was especially true for the women, who were either filled with longing, or resentment. This made Jiang Luoli very jealous. Her big brother Xiaoyao was really too popular, especially after killing the ultimate calamity. Jun Xiaoyao would only have more and more fangirls. It made Jiang Luoli feel a little threatened. All right, everyone, it's not convenient to talk here. Let's find a place to rest first, Jun Xiaoyao said. Young Master, please follow this old man. The fourth Master Scar immediately spoke and helped Jun Xiaoyao and the others arrange a place to stay. Jun Xiaoyao did not immediately leave the original imperial city, because he still had to wait for someone to come. Soon, The fourth Master Scar arranged a good palace in the original imperial city for Jun Xiaoyao and the others to rest. Next, they naturally had a chat about the past. Jun Xiaoyao also told everyone some things about the foreign realm. Of course, he spoke selectively. There were some things that were better left unknown. For example, the calamity of the immortal region had not completely ended. The ultimate calamity was just the beginning. After that, Jun Xiaoyao released the little divine demon ant. As the descendant of a divine demon emperor and a rare primordial divine demon ant, the little divine demon ant naturally caused a commotion. However, the little divine demon ant stared straight at Yen Rumung. "What are you looking at?" Yen Rumung felt a little uneasy from being stared at. "What species are you?" The little divine demon ant asked casually. Some primordial divine demons could sense each other. That was why the divine Silkworm Valley's silkworm Daozi coveted Yen Rumung so much. Yen Rumung's true form was the sky dream butterfly, a primordial variant like the primordial emperor butterfly and the cracked demonic butterfly. "What do you mean by what species?" Yen Rumung gritted her teeth in anger. She was a great beauty with long legs, but she was being asked what species she was. This was too insulting. Everyone laughed heartily. The atmosphere was very harmonious. A few days passed quickly. Countless cultivators in the original imperial city were still discussing the battle of calamity. Jun Wuhuwei and his father, Jun Xiaoyao, were undoubtedly placed on the altar. At this moment, however, a group of beings came to the palace where Jun Xiaoyao and the others were. Their expressions were cold. Are those creatures of the Archean royalty? Many people were surprised when they saw this group of creatures. They knew that the Archean royalty and other factions were not on good terms with the Jun family. But why were they looking for Jun Xiaoyao now? By the way, have you forgotten? When we were training in the barren borderlands, some disciples of the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy said. Previously, the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy had organized a training in the barren borderlands to fight against the foreign god of War Academy. At that time, the foreign god of war chaotic body killed 10 seed-level prodigies in a row. Those were the seeds of the Archean royalty. And now, the truth was revealed. That chaotic body of the god of war was none other than Jun Xiaoyao. Didn't it mean that Jun Xiaoyao was the one who killed the Archean royalty's seed? It was reasonable for them to come looking for him. Jun Xiaoyao, come out. Among the Archean royalty, a man in a feathered robe with the aura of a heavenly venerable shouted coldly. He was an elder of the demon phoenix ancient cave. One of the seed-level prodigies of the demon phoenix ancient cave, the phoenix girl, died at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao when they were training in the barren borderlands. Jun Xiaoyao, it's one thing for you to hide in the foreign realm, but why did you kill our prodigies so cruelly? The creatures of the Dragon King Palace also spoke. The seed-level prodigy of the Dragon King Palace, Xian Haoqiong, also died at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. In addition, the creatures of the Sun God Mountain, Nine Phantom Mountain, and Divine Silkworm Valley also came. After that, the Netherworld King Bloodline and the Holy Spirit Island also came. This was because the seed-level prodigy of the Netherworld King Bloodline, Holy Yama, and the White Bone Prince of the Holy Spirit Island also died at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao when they were training in the barren borderlands. What are you all arguing about? At this moment, an impatient and cold voice rang out. A man with green wings on his back and a powerful aura walked out. It was the Fufeng of Gojoseon. As a quasi-immortal level prodigy, he was now being treated as a mount. He was very angry. However, at this moment, some ignorant people came to provoke him. Wouldn't they become the Fufeng of Gojoseon's punching bag? Splat! As a quasi-immortal level prodigy, the Fufeng of Gojoseon was a quasi-immortal level prodigy. Even if it was just a wisp of his aura, it was enough to send a group of Archean royalty beings flying, causing them to vomit blood. Treating a quasi-immortal level prodigy as a mount and making him guard the door, the countless spectating immortal region cultivators were all speechless. Jun Xiaoyao's appearance was simply too impressive. Only at this moment did Jun Xiaoyao and the others appear. He glanced at the group of Archean royalty beings who were swaying left and right. His eyes were incomparably cold. I didn't find you, but you came to find me first, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Jun Xiaoyao, what do you mean? Are you letting the foreign beings bully us? An elder of the divine Silkworm Valley shouted angrily. Don't play these tricks. I'm a spy in the foreign realm, so I know more than anyone else. Don't you know how those primeval geniuses of the primeval theocrats were able to track me down? Or do you want me to say in public that your Archean royalty is secretly related to the foreign monarch races and might even pass on information? Jun Xiaoyao's cold words exploded in the original imperial city. Chapter 1124. What are you talking about? That's right, don't slander us. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, these Archean royalty creatures who came to denounce him all opened their mouths to rebuke him coldly. However, there was a hint of bewilderment in their eyes. Slander me? Back then, when I was in the foreign realm, I was also a thorn in the side of some people, such as the foofing of Gojoseon. Jun Xiaoyao turned around and glanced at the foofing of Gojoseon. The foofing of Gojoseon's expression was filled with embarrassment. However, he still braced himself and said, That's right. That's indeed the case. Back then, I didn't like Jun Xiaoyao. No, Master, so I ordered some emperors to target Master in the desolate border. Jun Xiaoyao took over the conversation right away. However, those emperors couldn't target me openly because of my identity as the god of war. Therefore, I secretly contacted your Archean royalty seed prodigies, Xian Haoqiong, the Phoenix Girl, the Golden Crow Young Sacred King, and the others, wanting to kill me with a borrowed knife. If that's the case, then should I stretch out my neck and wait for them to kill me? Jun Xiaoyao's words undoubtedly set off a huge wave in the original imperial city. Now that the foreign realm's calamity had just ended, this news spread. If it was true, then it would undoubtedly be a huge blow to the Archean royalty's prestige. It might even be spurned by all living beings and go down in history as a byword. Nonsense. You don't know what you're talking about at all. That's right. You're just making up an excuse to absolve yourself. Your hands are stained with the blood of our Archean royalty seed. This is an indisputable fact. The Archean royalty creatures all shouted coldly. Some of them really didn't know what was going on. However, regardless of whether they knew or not, they obviously wouldn't admit it. So, your purpose of coming here is just to denounce me? Jun Xiaoyao's expression was very calm from the beginning to the end. He did not expect to rely on this bit of information to overturn the Archean royalty. That was simply unrealistic. The Archean royalty had existed in the immortal realms for countless eras. The inheritances and foundations of the various royal clans were all extremely ancient. Jun Xiaoyao's words alone could not cause any substantial harm to the Archean royalty. However, even if it was just a blow to his reputation, that would be enough. After starting to cultivate the power of faith, Jun Xiaoyao finally understood just how important was prestige. Those with a good reputation would be worshipped by all living beings and blessed by the faith of all living beings, just like the Jun family. As for those with bad reputations, they would be spurned by all living beings. Unknowingly, they would also have bad luck and disasters. At least on this level, Jun Xiaoyao had caused a loss to the Archean royalty. You've eradicated the calamity, so you could be considered to have redeemed yourself. My Archean royalty is naturally not that petty. How about this? You take out that drop of black blood and the ancient coffin that suppressed the calamity for everyone to study. The elder of the demon phoenix ancient cave said in a muffled voice. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. There was a hint of coldness in his smile. It turned out that the Archean royalty had their eyes on the black blood and the three-world coffin. It had to be said that the extent of their shamelessness was beyond Jun Xiaoyao's imagination. I've never seen such shameless people, Jiang Luoli shouted angrily. Her beautiful eyes were wide open and her long, shapely eyebrows were furrowed. What kind of people were these? Jun Xiaoyao had made great contributions to the immortal realms. In the end, these Archean royalty creatures wanted to take it from Jun Xiaoyao under the excuse of killing a seed-level prodigy. No matter how thick-skinned a person was, he would not do such a thing. It was not only the people around Jun Xiaoyao who were angry. Even the surrounding spectators had looks of disdain on their faces. What kind of thing is this group of people? When Jun Wuhui and Jun Xiaoyao were fighting the calamity for the immortal realms, where were they? That's right. The Archean royalty didn't do anything at all. Even if the Archean emperor appeared, it was just an illusion. Moreover, he didn't make a move. He was just guarding the rear. I really think that what the son of God of the Jun family said might be true. These royal families might really have some kind of deal with the foreign realms. Countless voices of discussion sounded. There were even more hot-tempered people who directly cursed. They're just a bunch of idiots. It was a simple insult, but it was the ultimate enjoyment. The surrounding crowd all praised. Who's the one who's cursing? The Archean royalty creatures' faces were as black as the bottom of a pot as they berated. No one dared to insult the Archean royalty in public. However, there were too many people who were cursing. They came from all directions and were hiding. This made the Archean royalty creatures feel extremely uncomfortable, as if they had eaten a dead fly. Impudent. Who dares to criticize the young master? The fourth Master Scar and the other gatekeepers came with a threatening aura. When he heard that the Archean royalty were looking for trouble with Jun Xiaoyao, he immediately appeared. Fourth Master Scar, this has nothing to do with you. An elder of Nine Phantom Mountain said coldly. Nine Phantom Mountain was an ancient, great, vicious beast, the Nine Phantom Python bloodline. This bloodline was definitely the strongest among the vicious beasts. One of the successors of Geo Mountain had also fallen at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao during the Desolate Border War. Is this how you treat the heroes of the Immortal Realms? Are you trying to chill the hearts of the people of the world? The fourth Master Scar glared angrily. Heroes are created by circumstances. Without Jun Xiaoyao, there might be others. The creature of the Dragon King Palace sneered. Ew. The fourth Master Scar was furious. If it weren't for the fact that the Archean royalty was too powerful, he really wanted to suppress them with a palm strike. All right, Jun Xiaoyao, we're already magnanimous enough to not pursue the matter of you killing a descendant of our royal family. Hand over the things. To be honest, the Archean royalty really coveted Jun Xiaoyao's heavenly black blood and three-world bronze coffin. After all, these were the means to suppress calamities. If the Archean royalty could control them, it would be an invincible trump card. Jun Xiaoyao wasn't angry. He still had a slight smile on his face. The old ancestors and ancient ancestors of the Jun family left the original imperial city. That was why the Archean royalty were so arrogant. At this moment, a vast emperor's aura suddenly appeared in the starry sky. Hiss! Which emperor has arrived? The entire original imperial city was in an uproar. After the war between the two realms ended, those emperor-level powerhouses left and disappeared. After all, that kind of existence couldn't casually appear in the world. Moreover, because of the Archean Treaty of Alliance, emperor-level powerhouses couldn't casually appear in the immortal realm. This terrifying emperor's aura directly pressed the group of immemorial theocrats to the ground. They spat out mouthfuls of blood, and who knew how many of their ribs were broken? Could it be the divine, universe emperor of the Jun family? Cultivators from all directions focused their attention. The appearance of the three emperors of the Jun family shocked everyone in the immortal realm. Above the universe, starlight shone, and a stooped old man appeared from the brilliance of the seven stars. It was the Big Dipper Emperor. What shocked everyone even more was that the Big Dipper Emperor cupped his hands and said to Jun Xiaoyao, "I'm sorry, Xiaoyao. I attacked you in the desolate border before. This old man apologizes." His words immediately silenced the entire original imperial city. A great emperor cupped his hands and apologized to Jun Xiaoyao. This shocked countless people so much that their scalps went numb. Chapter 1125. What kind of figure was a great emperor? He ruled over the 9 heavens and 10 earths and intimidated the eternal space-time. He controlled the great Tao and karma. With a thought, heaven and earth collapsed and the universe shattered. He overlooked billions of living beings and watched the vicissitudes of life. Such a figure was too extraordinary. To a great emperor, right and wrong no longer had any meaning. Because their words were the truth, right and wrong. But now, the Big Dipper Great Emperor cupped his hands and apologized to a junior. This was absolutely unimaginable. Big Dipper Great Emperor, why do you have to do this? Everyone couldn't figure it out. Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly and cupped his hands at the Big Dipper Great Emperor. Senior Big Dipper, you must be joking. At that time, I had the alien chaotic body. It's understandable that Senior wanted to make a move to eliminate future troubles. What's wrong with that? Jun Xiaoyao still had some respect for this Big Dipper Great Emperor. In the past, he had made great contributions to guard the border, causing him to be injured all over. Now, even though he was seriously ill and old, he was still emitting the last light and heat for the celestial region. Compared to those Archean royalty ancient emperors who only appeared as phantoms and didn't even make a move, the Big Dipper Great Emperor was simply loyal and righteous. Jun Xiaoyao's carefree attitude made the Big Dipper Great Emperor feel even more guilty. He sighed. Fortunately, Shanao of Beach stopped me at that time. Otherwise, I would have been a sinner of the celestial region for eternity. At that time, if the Big Dipper Great Emperor had really killed Jun Xiaoyao. Now, the ultimate calamity was naturally unstoppable. If he took another step back, even if he could stop it, the celestial region would have to pay an immeasurable price. Senior sincerity to the celestial region has moved me, Jun Xiaoyao said. The Big Dipper Great Emperor sighed. With such a hero in the celestial region, why would they worry about the calamity in the future? Then, he looked at the Archean royalty who were pressed to the ground with an incomparably cold gaze. The powerful emperor's pressure continued to pour down. The bodies of those Archean royalty beings exploded one by one. The eyes of the elder of the demon phoenix ancient cave were about to split open, and he was extremely regretful. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at Jun Xiaoyao. Our little ancestor will definitely not let you off. My Holy Spirit Island's little stone emperor is the same. The creatures of the Holy Spirit Island also roared. Boom, boom, boom. A series of explosions could be heard. If you're not convinced, you far ancient theocrats can come and find me for punishment. The Big Dipper Emperor's was he. Big Great Emperor. After all, who would dare to cause trouble for the Great Emperor, even if there was an ancient emperor among the Archean royalty? However, it was impossible for experts of this level to start a war so easily. It was even more impossible for them to fight to the death. That would not benefit anyone. Therefore, these primordial theocrats were basically here to deliver their heads to him. Jun Xiaoyao's expression did not change at all from beginning to end. Even if the Big Dipper Emperor did not make a move, these Archean royalty would not cause him any trouble. The little ancestor of the demon phoenix ancient cave, the venomous roar of that elder from the demonic phoenix ancient cave before he died made Jun Xiaoyao smirk. Big brother Xiaoyao, you don't know, but after you died, many freaks appeared in the celestial realm. They want to replace Big Brother Xiaoyao. The little ancestor of the demon phoenix ancient cave is called Huang Niedao. He is a direct descendant of the immortal ancient emperor. Jiang Luoli said, direct descendant of the immortal ancient emperor? Jun Xiaoyao's expression did not change. These direct descendants were not to be underestimated. For example, little E the divine demon ant was a direct descendant of the divine demon emperor. This kind of prodigy had the bloodline of an ancient emperor or an emperor. Their future was limitless. But to Jun Xiaoyao, it was still not enough to make him waver. Presumably, the little stone emperor from the Holy Spirit Island was a similar character. You only dare to stand on the stage and fight for the heavenly fate after I died. Now that I am back, there is no place for you in this world. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself with a sneer in his eyes. Then he looked at the Big Dipper Emperor in the sky and cupped his hands. Thank you for your help, Senior Big Dipper. If you don't mind, I'm willing to do my best to heal your injuries. The Big Dipper Emperor did not have any family or faction behind him. He was a loner who only wanted to prove his Tao. He was somewhat similar to the ancient Chaos Emperor. If Jun Xiaoyao wanted to help, he and the Jun family could really help the Big Dipper Emperor. What else do you have in mind? The Big Dipper Emperor seemed to have seen through Jun Xiaoyao's thoughts. Jun Xiaoyao was neither servile nor overbearing. He said generously, I wonder if you're interested in joining the Emperor Hall. Although the Emperor Hall was flourishing now, but there was still a lack of a pillar of support. After that, Jun Xiaoyao tried to rope in the Nirvana tribe. However, the Nirvana tribe could only maintain a cooperative relationship with the Emperor Hall. It was impossible for them to completely merge with the Emperor Hall in a short time. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao hoped to rope in more powerhouses for the Emperor Hall. The Big Dipper Emperor smiled. He was not angry. My apologies. This old man is used to being a wild crane. I have been alone all my life. Jun Xiaoyao expected the Big Dipper Emperor's rejection. He said, even so, I still welcome you to be a guest of the Jun family. Senior, you have done your best for the immortal region. You should not die so sadly. Jun Xiaoyao's words were so sincere that everyone present was slightly moved. This was the so-called hero cherishing another hero. The Big Dipper Emperor looked at Jun Xiaoyao deeply and finally smiled. Although I am not used to joining any force, I don't mind if it is just a title of guest elder. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes sparkled when he heard that. The surrounding people were even more surprised. He said that it was a title of guest elder. But in fact, it didn't seem to be much different from joining. If anyone wanted to touch the Emperor Hall, they had to consider the Big Dipper Emperor. Thank you, Senior. Jun Xiaoyao was happy. Then, the Big Dipper Emperor left. Jun Xiaoyao would naturally arrange for the Jun family to think of a way to deal with his injuries. The small storm ended just like that. However, Jun Xiaoyao knew that the Archean royalty, the Holy Spirit Island, and the Nether King bloodline must have hated him to the core. Not to mention, the Archean royalty was not the only thing he killed in the desolate border. There were also the successors of the Xian Ting's immortal lineages. Song Li, Yao Qing, and Xing Lu all died in his hands. However, the Xian Ting did not immediately come to find him. This showed the Xian Ting's wisdom. It was indeed more restrained than the Archean royalty. In a short period of time, Jun Xiaoyao's reputation was too great, and it was not easy to provoke him. However, the Xian Ting would not forget this debt. Just as the matter came to an end, suddenly, a beautiful figure appeared in the crowd. She stared at Jun Xiaoyao with mixed feelings. Her face was filled with joy, but there was also a complicated expression. Jun Xiaoyao noticed the beautiful woman, Yu Yinchang. Behind her was a handsome man with a head full of silver hair. It was the Ascendant King,